welcome everyone. It is the regular city council meeting for Monday, June 27th, 2022. We'll call the meeting to order. We'd all stand up and say the pledge of allegiance, please. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, roll call please, Teresa.
Matt Peterson.
Yes.
Matt Girardi.
Yep.
Adam Ryder.
Yes.
J.T. Thompson.
Yes.
Rich Peterson.
Yes.
Number 4, approval of agenda. Anybody have any questions, comments, concerns, anything on there? Not, I will ask for motion for approval.
I'll make a motion for the agenda that's submitted.
Second.
Second.
Roll call please.
Matt Girardi.
Yep.
Adam Ryder.
Yes.
J.T. Thompson.
Yes.
Rich Peterson.
Yes.
Matt Peterson.
Yes.
Number 5, I believe we can skip.
Yep.
So number 6, the consent agenda. If anybody have any questions, comments, concerns, anything on there? If not, I will ask for a motion for approval.
Make a motion to approve consent agenda.
Second.
Roll call please.
Adam Ryder.
Yes.
J.T. Thompson.
Yes.
Rich Peterson.
Yes.
Matt Peterson.
Yes.
Matt Girardi.
Yes.
Number 7, discuss and consider approval of payment request number 9, final, in the amount of $21,739 for BWC Excavating LC. So Mark is here. If anybody has any questions, this will be the final installment for this. This will finish it out and
That's
wrap it
correct.
up. So
Yeah. I never got back up to it. They finished the concrete and everything, right? They broke out and replaced it. Jack's happy, everybody's happy with
Yes,
that.
it looks good.
Seating came in great.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yep.
yeah. No, I think it's
Yeah,
very
a lot better than I thought it was going to.
Well, had a pretty good spring.
Yeah, it looks good. How are we mowing that up there?
The guys are taking care of it,
Looks good,
so
yeah.
Jack's all over it, so.
And just to touch on the grass, the seeding too, we had said something to Brandon, thank you, about some weeds up there. Some of the guys noticed some weeds up there this spring, with it being brand new. He didn't wanna spray it since it was new seedling. He wanted to put down the granular stuff, correct me if I'm wrong, and he went ahead and did that, so.
Good. That was my next comment, we just need to keep up with the weeds, so it is grass and not
Yeah,
weeds.
yep, so, no, they've been fair to us, and so, in return, back at them, so we can get this crossed off, and
Mark, you're happy with everything the way?
I am, yeah.
Good.
so. Ready for new houses now.
Yeah. All right.
I'll make a motion to approve payment request number 9 in the amount of $21,739 for BWC Excavating.
Second.
Roll call please.
J.T. Thompson.
Yes.
Rich Peterson.
Yes.
Matt Peterson.
Yes.
Matt Girardi.
Yes.
Adam Ryder.
Yes.
Okay, number 8, public hearing on the proposed designation of the 2022 Preston multifamily urban revitalization area. So I will need a motion to open the public hearing.
Make a motion to open the public hearing.
Second,
Second.
and roll call.
Rich Peterson.
Yes.
Matt Peterson.
Yes.
Matt Girardi.
Yep.
Adam Ryder.
Yes.
J.T. Thompson.
Yes.
I did not have any comments to bring forward.
Okay, well, if that being the case, I'll ask for a motion to close the public hearing.
Motion to close public hearing.
Second,
Second.
and roll call.
Matt Peterson.
Yes.
Matt Girardi.
Yep.
Adam Ryder.
Yes.
J.T. Thompson.
Yes.
Rich Peterson.
Yes.
Okay, so number 9, review and consider approving, resolution 2022-42, resolution adopting the proposed plan for the 2022 Preston multifamily urban revitalization area.
I guess,
Dave?
any questions
Yeah,
on
do you
it?
have any questions? Dave was here last meeting, for those that weren't here last meeting. He did a very good job of kind of walking us through that whole,
Yeah.
the whole need for this and kind of what it does and what, you know, what it's supposed to do, so.
So really what we're doing is just defining the area where the developer is going to be developing. And that will be for, tax abatement. For example, if the property, assesses at $1 million, then the tax on that would be for 500,000, which we know it's gonna assess for way more than that. So we're giving 50% for 10 years, but right now, we're just trying to designate that urban revitalization area.
So, and I apologize for not being here last meeting, but this all has to be done before we get, have we have anything signed that property's going
He's-
forth or anything, or is the cart in front of the horse here? Obviously not,
No,
Mm-mm.
no, we had to do this to be able to get him what he needed as far
Has to be done ahead of
right,
time,
so we
so
can
we
file
can-
with the.
Sounds like he needed it for some application or something he's doing.
The
Yeah, workforce.
workforce tax credits,
Yeah.
which is coming up here also, but, I received an email from Chad today. The developer is Chad Ellis, it's with Ellis Properties, he's out of Dubuque. He has a purchase agreement that our attorney put together. Dave Heyer also reviewed it, I wanted him to go through it just to make sure what we've all discussed. And Chad actually emailed me today and he said, I'll get that signed and back to you, Teresa. So everything's moving forward, getting the letters of support for him. I think, very excited to get the project going, so,
Awesome.
yeah, it is. So this is just all part of the legalities and the process and allowing, you know, people of Preston the ability to have a say if they would like to.
Yeah.
Any other questions on that?
I guess I'll make a motion to approve resolution, 2022-42.
Second,
Second.
and roll call, please.
Matt Girardi,
Yep.
Adam Ryder,
Yes.
JT Thompson,
Yes.
Richard Peterson,
Yes.
and Matt Peterson.
Yes.
Okay, number 10, review and consider approving ordinance 2022-06 and ordinance designating an area of Preston, Iowa as the 2022 Preston multifamily urban revitalization area.
Now, this is an ordinance, so there would be 3 readings for it. This would be the first reading, and then, of course, you do have the ability, if you would like to approve the first reading and then waive the second and third.
Since we got a full council.
Mm-hmm. And it doesn't hurt anything if you decide you want to just do the first reading this time. You're fine with that. It does not have to be totally approved tonight.
Let's say it won't hold him up in any
It,
way for the
no,
3 readings.
I called Dave Heyer and discussed it with him to
Okay.
make sure
Okay,
that we were good,
good deal.
so.
Again, this is basically just laying out, you know, our area, just for legal purposes, so.
See their basic limits. Let's see here. I I make a motion to approve ordinance, 2022-6. Also, I say skipping this, also with the second, third reading.
Waiving the second.
Waiving the second and third reading.
Roll call, second.
Second.
And roll call.
Adam Ryder,
Yes.
JT Thompson.
Yes.
Richard Peterson,
No.
Matt Peterson,
Yes.
Matt Girardi.
Yes.
Okay, number 11, discuss and review, the preliminary plat for the McNeil subdivision. Mark, it should be in your packet, but, okay, I can pull it up there.
So, keep in mind on this, that this first plat that we'll make a decision tonight, hopefully on, is just gonna be the first two lots that are up on West Street there. The rest of those lots and anything with the rest of the subdivision will all be determined later. It's included just for your information to kind of see what the future might be. So this is what you'd already looked at, and everybody had kind of made some comments on. So this would be exhibit number 1. This keeps 12 lots. It's the same dimensions as what you looked at. This here would be changing the lots to, goes from 12 lots down to 10 lots. So 5 on the north and south side of the future street there. You can see how, you know, these front 2 lots here, with it being a little bit narrower there, we've extended those a little bit, and each of these lots too. So you can see the remaining lots were about 130-ish on this original one. They're all in the ballpark of 112 frontage. Now when you change it, you go to 130. We added a little bit more, however, to these front 2 lots just because they're a little bit shortchanged by the narrow north-south dimension. We felt like this was an equitable division of the lots if you were going to change it to a 10-lot subdivision as opposed to a 12-lot. I wanted to address, I think, Matt, you had some comments that I wanted to just touch on, okay? Right here's Beacon map here. You kind of talked about this parcel Y here of the park. I don't think we want to do anything with that because we've already got the trail on that.
I thought it was a Y on the other side of the trail.
Right, I figured that.
I did too.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
how I
yeah.
thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not.
It's not, so
Where-
so those lots are coming back to,
These lots that
Right,
were
to
laid
the,
out.
to the existing park.
Yeah,
Okay.
Oh, that's different then.
We talked about that, and I could see where it was
I
confusing.
was the same with you. I
Yeah,
thought
I'm
it
like, if that's that Y, that's just a waste of, that's just more
right.
for us to maintain at that
Right.
point.
Yeah, it's
Right.
actually this parcel right here.
Okay.
We've got that trail on.
So yeah, we don't wanna do anything with that.
That might not go over well, right?
Have the walking path through somebody's backyard. So thanks for that explanation, but I had it that it was just on the other side, it was a
I did too.
Y.
Understood.
I agree,
Understood.
I
I didn't know until today that I looked at them.
We were talking on the phone about it, and we started, I said, I don't think that goes with it.
Yeah, it's kinda deceiving, I guess, looking
It
at it.
is on there,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, this here with the aerial really illustrates it clearly what
Yeah.
that parcel is, so.
Okay, thanks for that.
Yeah, you mentioned maybe wanting to have the street more square with West Street too, but to do that, you really end up squeezing the south side here.
And after I sent that, I looked at it a lot more, and
It's
that
only,
makes
you're only
sense.
10 degrees off 90 there.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's not too bad. And,
I guess I'm just a straight kind of guy.
yeah, it's nice to have everything square with the world.
90s,
Yeah,
Right.
that's all it is just 10 degrees,
Just 10 degrees
South.
off of 90 degree
Okay.
perpendicular to West Street there.
It looks looks more than that, but then again too, when I first drew my lines, you know, West Street on that map too was tilted a little bit too, so that map's kinda deceiving in
Yes.
itself as far as straight.
Well, and now
lines,
too,
right?
that we figured out that Y isn't part of it too, that
That, it
changes.
changes it up in my
Right.
mindset
Yeah.
too, yeah.
So it's actually straight, yeah.
Right.
I prefer the bigger lots personally. I mean, I don't know if I'd ever buy a lot there, but
Well, for comparison, Mark, what's an average size lot up at Harvest Heights?
Yeah, I feel like the average size lots were closer to what the exhibit 3-1 was. I'd asked, John Tran, our surveyor, when he was kinda laying those out, I said, at least make them the size of the Harvest Heights lots there. So I think these are similar to that, could
So
try
it's-
to,
So 6 lots is comparable to Harvest Heights.
yes, correct.
I sent that to you, didn't I, Adam? Did you
Yeah.
think it was comparable?
Yeah, I thought. yeah,
I thought
the
it was
original
pretty comparable
yeah.
when I looked at it again,
Yeah.
to the Hardest Heights.
Right.
I know there's a lot of them that are just like, you know, what, 100 by 120. Would that sound right, like in just average part of town?
Oh,
I mean, I know it varies a lot.
Yeah, they end up, they're even smaller than that sometimes.
60 by 120, I think is what we are.
Yeah, mine are both 60 by 120s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds
Yeah.
right.
I know, I think that, you know, I can see it both ways. If you had 6 lots, it's more lots we can sell, you know, down the line. If the lots are a little bit bigger, gives some of the opportunity maybe to, a little bit more room on top of your neighbors, or if you wanted to build an extra garage or something on the side, or, you know. Just gives a little bit more option, I guess. That's, you know, I don't think I'll probably ever buy a lot there, but, you know.
Well, so
Yeah.
what's
That's only, my thought is, you know, I guess if I was gonna buy a lot, I'd probably try to buy a corner lot or the biggest lot I can find, you know.
So I think a good comparison would be if you use like mine, where I live, you know, there's 4 homes on that block.
Yeah,
You know, on Amos, facing Amos, and on the other side of the street, there's 2.
two, yeah.
So this, you know, you sort of kind of, I mean, you're talking, you know, what's your lot sizes there?
What's one,
When you go to the 5?
The typical is like a 130 by, you know, it kinda increases as you go, but a minimum of like 130 by 130.
Right.
Once you get past the first 2 lots, first 2, we've made them like, this is roughly 160 by 125 here, this here you're looking at, you know, 150 by 125, so, and so forth, so.
So we want to do 136 by 120.
This is that.
I was trying to go back to look if I
What
could
is it
find
again?
136 by 120.
plat for Harvest Heights,
And that's
Let me see if I
close to
can go
comparison
back
that far.
on that
for,
rapidly.
just for
reference sake.
cause really, the 2 lots that we're talking about
I think
today
it's
is
really close to
gonna
the 5
dictate
lot.
what
This
we
is
do.
6 of 1.
Pretty
Down
much,
by
I
1.
would
Down
say.
the line, right?
So I think
So-
those them lots would be comparable.
So it's like 350 plus
So, yeah, so
$1,000
basically
homes is what you're looking to put in there?
Here's Harvest Heights, if you guys wanna see.
One
those
double,
guys.
one double size.
I would want to.
Okay, this is Harvest Heights then?
Yeah,
Okay,
so it was like 115, 125 by 129, so the depth is all like, you know, 130,
Yeah.
125. And the frontage on them, you know, corner lots looked like we were
Give options.
116, and then we were 105s, even 95 there at Hope Street. 93, and then we go to 105 again. So,
so,
Real comparable.
yeah, real comparable.
with the 6, it's comparable. With the 5, they're substantially larger.
What are we thinking on, you know, we have a price for Harvest Heights, and they're all the same price, no matter the lot size, right? No matter which lot you pick.
Yes, 30,000.
Correct? Yeah. So, I mean, I guess if you went bigger, you'd have to price accordingly, or what's everybody's thoughts there?
Yeah, Yeah, maybe a
So-
little bit more, what do you charge, 30, 35?
Well, I think you'd have to decide if the city's gonna get a loan or pay for the infrastructure again.
Yeah.
Or if you're gonna let the homeowners help pay for that infrastructure.
Wasn't that kinda what we thought, like, try to sell the first 2 lots that, which we're gonna talk, try to get those sold.
Yeah.
We got some money to recoup, and then maybe help pay, or if we get more interest there, I guess.
If nothing else, it goes towards the debt of the land,
Yes.
nothing
Yeah.
else.
That and the 5 acres you sell to the developer, and that's a huge start to
Right.
paying the debt down.
And we're not gonna have any, covenants or covenants here either, it's just
I would think you would want
the same.
roughly the same. You know, you may, if you're going with bigger lots, you may decide you want the houses to be a little bigger. Then, I think, I can't remember on Harvest Heights, was it 1,600?
I thought it was 18.
18? You may say on these, maybe you want more of a 2,000, maybe you wanna go with 18 again, I didn't feel our covenants for Harvest Heights were really that restrictive.
No, I didn't think
Pretty
so
pretty
either.
standard.
They were pretty straightforward, and really all they did is protect the neighbor. If you're putting up a $350,000 house, your neighbor's gonna put up something comparable.
Yeah.
One thing also that has to be considered by council is that they don't want it called the McNeil, the auditor does not want that name, similar to out there, it was gonna be Marvin subdivision.
Subdivision.
Or secondary.
Harvest Heights, so this is gonna have to have a different name than McNeil subdivision number 3 when it's filed, so it's another thing that we really need to iron out here too.
So I need to figure out a name. Whether you go with something simple like West Side Subdivision, or, I don't know, that's really straightforward.
Mark, I know you don't like giving your opinions very much, but in your line of business and what you see and know what we have already up at Harvest Heights, do you have any suggestions for council? Or thoughts, I should say?
Yeah, really, it's tough to weigh in on this. I mean, one opportunity you do have is to have this, maybe have a different flavor than Harvest Heights by being a little bit larger lot, so it could be a different, I don't know, I don't wanna be politically incorrect, different income bracket developing out there or something, so that would be something that could be attractive instead of the same size lots that is out at the Harvest Heights. If you had these a little bit larger, you could have a different flavor in that area potentially, but it's really up to you guys and what your thoughts are here.
I think it depends on who the developer is, is what I've noticed. Now, I've paid more attention to subdivisions than what I ever did before. And what you see is there's some where they've got the houses crammed in. I mean, you look out your window, you're gonna look into your neighbor's house in some of these subdivisions. And in other ones, they're putting up these big houses, there's lots of privacy and space between themselves and the next one. And I think it's all in what the developer and what the market can bear on the price of a lot.
I look at this a couple different ways. I like the idea of Mark's comments, maybe you have some higher end homes and, maybe there's some bigger garages and stuff like that too, but you want your covenants to reflect that obviously, because if you don't, you can have small homes in these huge lots, but then do people really want bigger lots there because your backyard is the park?
Yeah.
So.
And you gotta pay tax on that.
You literally walk out your home and across your backyard, you have this huge open area to play and run in and do all that. So how big do we need bigger lots than standard just for that fact too? I don't know, but it's a thought. Mark's right there.
That's a good thought, good comment. But I would agree with Mark, the size of the first two lots will help dictate the rest of it.
You almost have to decide now because you're gonna be kind of stuck with maybe
Yeah.
5 or 6.
Yeah, if
Size, I
you,
should
It's
say.
either exhibit 2 or exhibit, what, 1?
yeah, it really is.
And it comes down to, basically the same size lots as Harvest Heights, or
Yes.
a little bit bigger lots.
I like having a little difference, give them a choice. I mean, we got how many lots up at Harvest Heights to sell? You put another batch of lots that are the same size. I mean, I guess location and park would be nice, but
Yeah. Well, if someone says, well, why do we need another subdivision, I guess? I don't want a business or anything going next to the park, so I think more opportunity for people to purchase any lot to build a house is what we want, right?
I think we wanna, it's nice to be able to give
Give
options to
options.
people that wanna build.
Yeah, 'cause we went many years with no place to build anything. I'd rather have more,
Decades.
yeah, I'd rather.
I will say that, you know, the thought or even what history has said here in Preston is people have liked bigger lots. Oftentimes, they would build on this lot and then share, buy another half lot.
Yeah.
So,
that's what happened up in the addition next to it,
yeah.
right?
yeah, and that's why in the covenants, we have it, you build a house on a lot. That the covenants have it stated that you can't do that.
Can't buy a split. You
So-
neighbors can't buy a lot and split it.
You know, so I don't know, that could be maybe something to consider is, it seems like people are wanting bigger lots. That doesn't mean you have to give it to them.
No, but if someone is out there looking at Harvest Heights, like, I'd really like to have a bigger lot, I can't buy 2, well, we have another option, we have down here, it's,
A little bit of a premium price, but
you paying a little bit more, but you get a little bit bigger lot.
Well, and that's what gives.
I think we should, if we're gonna make bigger lots, we should ask them a little bit more money. I'm not saying we need double it, but we need to ask.
A little bit.
It needs to reflect the price.
Yeah.
The square footage,
Yeah.
it needs to reflect that.
So we get 30 for up there, right?
You can just do it by square footage, you can damn near figure out what you should charge for
Yeah.
it.
Question. How much is it gonna cost us to put utilities in?
Yeah, we haven't gone that far, so right now, you're gonna come, water and sewer is already there on West
That's,
Street.
yeah, that's fresh, yeah.
Yeah, when we go into the next phase of developing the subdivision, that's when we're gonna go through what's the roadway gonna cost. You're gonna go into your, gas, telephone, electricity, water and sewer, the remainder of it. Just really what's it gonna take to develop the remainder of this. We have not gone through the effort to determine what the remaining 8 or 10 lots, depending on what you choose here, is going to be. Like, right now, they're gonna come off of West Street to serve those. You'll still have frontage off of this, maybe like a gravel entrance here that would be finished out when the remainder of the subdivision is designed and completed. That's when you would pave that, so.
I'm agreeing with that, I like that.
Which is all, I guess, all, our timeframes are all up to council on how they wanna decide, how fast they wanna move forward on it.
So-
But like you said, JT, this gets us started and paying debt down.
Yeah, we got, get this done, we got two more lots we can sell.
So,
And
if,
hopefully it's more kids and our school system.
Yeah.
Well, with minimal,
Tax revenue.
with minimal input, on, you know,
Yeah, with minimal,
Yeah, it's all right there.
so, right there, you got two
really
lots
doesn't-
ready to go.
it doesn't pencil out that much more if we just go down to 10 instead of 12, right? Dollar wise, you're going from 30 to 36,000 to get the same dollar amount for that property. For an extra 6,000, I'd pay that to have a bigger.
well,
You're not talking.
I would too, I guess, too.
The cost for the lots, if we go with 1.1 million for the subdivision and divide the 26 lots out of it, that comes out to $42,307 per lot the city had invested. But it was the decision to sell them for 30, to get families, to get people here and houses built.
Well, and that didn't include the land
No.
purchase price either.
No,
No.
That was just the infrastructure.
that was just the infrastructure.
Well, I guess we know that as a city that we're not gonna get all our money back, you know.
That's where it comes back to tax revenue.
Tax revenue, get more people in town, just, you know, make our town grow with houses. That's kind of what we're focused on.
I don't think people would fight it too bad though, I mean, if it's a bigger square footage down there, I mean, if you're not talking, if you're not doubling it, you know,
No, what do you gain, I mean, it's a little bit bigger lot, but,
I mean, like Matt said, an extra $5 or $6 grand, but.
Yeah, to pencil out to be exactly the same dollar for that portion, it's an extra 6,000, 30 to 36. If somebody's spending 30, more than likely, would probably pony up to get a little bit more land.
yeah, that, I mean, that price difference, I don't think that's gonna make or break someone to buy a lot, right? 5-6 grand. And we don't have that dollar amount set yet,
Mm-mm.
you know,
We don't.
6 grand, this is scratch.
yeah. I mean, we could ask for 40, or we could be 30 yet, you know, that's still.
Right, that can be determined. too.
Yeah, that can be determined later.
Yeah.
I'm leaning towards the bigger lot, just to give, like Mark said, another option, an option. That's my point. Rich, what's
What else?
yours? We gotta give, Mark kind of guidance here, what to come back with.
And additionally, I can't come back with the final plat until you have a name picked also.
Well, we better get a name picked. Rich, you better start brainstorming over there.
Well, I'm just smoking here right now.
We call it Rich's backyard.
Yeah.
Richard North 40,
Yeah. That works for me.
I mean, if it-
Hey, you got a pretty big.
I come in, I got an acre.
Yeah, I mean, so.
0.95. But anyway, yeah, I see both sides of this. I was kind of, I don't know, I've talked before, I was kind of on the smaller lots and listening to you guys. It makes sense. If you wanna have a little bit better selection of lots, yes, bigger lot would probably be a good idea. We have the water, we have the sewer right there already on board. The water table still concerns me. And it's right there. I've seen what happened before. It's not easy to work with.
What, like, it's not, a lot of water sits over there?
Mm-hmm.
But didn't you say maybe that road has to be like, I guess on the west? If that, all them lots were there, that might have to get built up a little bit. Didn't you say with more of a sewer slope though?
You mean for to deal with stormwater drainage? Yeah, we're gonna have to figure out what to do. We're putting an easement along here through lot 2 there to allow for drainage to be able to move away from the site there, so it's definitely gonna have to be a consideration. You know, we're gonna be putting an agreement in front of you to design a storm sewer that's gonna be able to carry it away and, you know, take care of it in that fashion.
But at least for the first 2 lots though, we wouldn't have, if, okay, here's the size, whatever size we come up with and whatever name we come up with. They're basically where they're at, that's,
Yeah, it's just, you're gonna, yeah, there's nothing really gonna be done there at all, other than whatever the
Whatever,
homeowner's
so
gonna do
I
there.
think just do whatever there, right?
And, you know, whoever purchases those lots, they should be prepared to have, you know, pumps in their basement that don't pump into the sanitary sewer, but pump out to get rid of any water issues they may have if they would choose to have.
Well, this is where I was going with that. I've addressed this council before, we talked about it. There is a natural spring that comes up from Bowling Off Hill. That runs right in to that area.
Hold on, I'm gonna pull up the map here, tell me a little bit more here. So where's the spring at?
Bowling Off Hill, go behind school.
School. What's
A
the?
little more east. Toward the water tower. That whole hill draws water, or drives water down into that area.
Well, that's where we got all funneled to, really.
It didn't have to. We didn't have to have anything to do with it. It was already there. Mother Nature already had it.
Our retention pond doesn't do anything with that.
That's what I was gonna say.
Well, I guess we don't know
That's
yet.
water retention.
Yeah. that's-
Yeah. That hill,
Yeah.
That drainage is,
Maybe bring it down to the meeting.
the drainage area that the detention pond is gonna deal with is more off the Marvin property there. Not further here this way.
But how's it getting over, clear over to the other?
Your question? is-
How's it tracking from clear over east over here to clear over here west then? If it's not coming through the Marvin property? How's it
There's
getting?
another drainage way here that runs parallel to the one that feeds the, so here's the drainage way that's going down towards the football field off the Marvin. See that?
Yeah,
And then this is the drainage way I think that, Rich was talking about.
I'm not talking about drainage, I'm talking about spring.
Well, the spring's gonna follow a low path that would also be a drainage way, right, or am I wrong?
is the land next to you, Rich, that we're talking about, are you the same level?
Level is what?
At your house, to the, that
To what our
property,
lots
to,
that were-
or to the
No,
lots?
he's-
No, I'm higher.
He's set up higher.
Same way with Lane couldn't put it. He wanted a deeper house, but he couldn't do it. And I listened over there, and he had pumps running for about 45 days straight. Trying to get that dried out so he could dig deeper basement, and he couldn't do it.
Was it wet when he built that?
Wasn't that wet.
Cause I asked Eddie Ryder the same question, and he said he didn't have any issues with
I was surprised, I don't know what happened there.
the water table out there. Cause he had heard that too, Eddie said, when he bought that.
This here is the water that really heads towards the pond, future pond. All this is kinda going this way, Marvin's got subdrain, it makes its way over to the ditch, but it's not going to contribute into the pond. This is the water here that's gonna be captured. Basin area A, 36 acres.
Well, I guess that people who buy these first two lots, I guess that's gonna be kind of a, well, if your dad didn't have any issues, you know,
He hasn't so far.
not saying he won't, but.
well, it's been a wetter year than last year. Last year it was pretty dry.
Well, I think let's decide what size of lots, so we can at least tell Mark to get rolling on that, and then we'll have to chicken scratch a name out here.
Is that a set in stone name or just something to?
Well, I mean, it's gonna go on the final plat, you could go through the process that you did before.
And it was a pain. So it would be way better if
I mean,
you can.
Get it right first time.
Yeah,
Yeah, why don't you skip
Make it presentable.
making the final for your next council meeting and try to get your name approved at the next council meeting, and then the one after that, we'll get the final plat and submitted, does that sound?
So that'd be like July 27th, maybe.
What's wrong with the west side subdivision?
Keep it simple.
Yeah.
Well, and you don't offend anybody with that name either, and it makes sense,
West Street, West Side Park, it's right there.
yeah.
Yeah,
So our next meeting
West.
is July 11th, the one after that would be July 25th.
And that's also when you'll consider awarding the sponsored project.
So,
Fine.
My ear perked up on that one.
Well, I'm gonna be on vacation down, that day, so hopefully, I'll have someone coming here with,
to help Teresa.
yeah.
So do you wanna decide on the name tonight? Do you wanna just
I
mull
say
it
let's
over?
get done, west side addition, whatever, west side something,
West Side subdivision?
there you go, done. Unless somebody else in chat, what else are we gonna call it?
I don't have any problem with that.
I don't know what else you can call it.
Bill, you got anything?
Okay, it works for me. What's the name of the road?
West.
West
Last-
Street.
West, is that, no, the road you're gonna have 5 homes, or 10 homes on.
First person to
East.
buy the lot, whatever that.
They get the name.
East Road.
Hey, you say for an extra $5,000, we'll
You have to
name the
name the
street
street.
after you.
Alright, I'm game.
No
Not a
first
bad idea,
west,
but honestly.
no first west, just put the name on it, I don't,
Iowa Drive.
We won't have a street for a while, we can worry about a street later.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, do you have to name the street, or the first two would actually be a West Street address? What about that part?
How would you have the front door facing?
So you're overthinking the shit out of it.
No, but really think about it, you have to, you might have
It'd
to
go
name the
against
street.
Future Street.
If the, yeah, if.
And you also
Well, who buys the first lot, well, they
Yeah.
Futuro Court, right?
Are you gonna have like a little, like hump there as you kinda go into the entrance to kinda give a little privacy?
You're
Which,
talking.
which some of those richier, I wanna call it richier, but they're
Oh,
pricier homes would be.
Nice and flat, straight in for the plow.
We don't need a lower.
No, we need a lower.
Yeah, probably couldn't get any lower, that's a good point.
Yeah.
We could put a hill there.
So would you have to put the, you have to name that street?
We need for an address for the people. We'll
Well,
need a
yeah,
street
okay,
name.
you buy a lot, if you don't face your house, cause technically whatever your front door faces is usually what your address is.
Yeah, but will it look funny facing front doors this way and then the rest of them are gonna be faced towards?
Well, yeah, so,
Wouldn't likely.
Been done before.
Yeah,
yeah,
it has.
But it's happened before because of poor planning.
Right.
or plan.
Yeah, I think you would want.
Sorry, Rich.
I think you want them facing the new street.
You wanna face your
Yeah,
street,
Like-
so I
like the lots
think,
are
yeah,
designed.
does that have to be?
Probably.
Okay.
This is too much. Can we just do lot sizes?
We can't decide on lot size, and we're trying to name it.
You didn't
street.
sign
We don't
up for
even have
that
to-
tonight.
we don't have-
Good way to get decisions made, make you have to do
Yeah.
it in 5 minutes.
Sometimes it's just you, okay, so we have, west side, we have the division with west side.
West Side subdivision, yeah.
Perfect. We have a west side street yet?
We have,
Again, if
You already have West Street.
we are on West Street, so,
That runs north and south,
What's
but
happening?
it's on the west side.
you know.
Could it be, I mean, just thinking, okay, how we did Marvin's up there, I mean, could it be McNeil Avenue or
Nope.
the street can't be?
The street can be.
Street can be?
The street, we name the streets. The county doesn't have
That would
a.
work for me. yes,
That's
I
a
mean,
good
Is that gonna
idea.
offend anybody?
I thought that was out.
McNeil Lane,
Who's there?
McNeil Street,
Or have one
McNeil
on
Lane, it was Marvin Lane.
yeah,
Or McNeil Avenue, or
Marvin Lane,
Drive.
yeah, McNeil, I don't know.
McNeil Drive.
That sounds good to me.
Yeah, I like that.
Street.
Street,
Is it ever gonna go through? I I mean, is it gonna go farther, or?
You never know.
Yeah.
It's gonna,
It
it's
could.
gonna just dead end now, so it very well could.
You need a line pass?
I like the Mickey Hill thing.
I like that.
Real highway.
Street?
I'd just call it a street.
I'd call it a
Street.
street.
Alright. Wow, you guys are
Just
effective.
knock them out.
Alright, so about this size.
So now we're back to the, now we're back to
We've
the.
avoided that now. What do you got? I'm on the, I'll just speak up, I'm on the fence, what we should do. I do like the idea of bigger lots, but then again, I go back to there's a park in your backyard, you do bigger lots, I think you can appeal to maybe, different people, options are good, I'll give it all that, and if we do that, I would ask that we should definitely let our covenants reflect the bigger size lots, you know, whether that, be a little bit bigger home, I don't think it'd be extravagant by any means, but, you know, put an 18 to 2 or whatever Teresa said over there. So.
Yeah.
But I think we should reflect a little bit as far as
Yeah.
what
that
we're
makes sense.
asking in the covenants. Not just adopt what we necessarily, we might, but let's just look at them anyway.
Anybody else? Anybody else's opinion on that?
Yeah, I could sway it either way, I just.
Yeah, that's kinda where I'm at too.
I just,
I see pros and cons of both. I mean, if you look at it too, and if ever, if you decide to go to the smaller, sizes, and the rest of it gets finished out, well, there you go. I mean, there's an extra $60,000, you figure the 2 lots.
Adam, you're awful quiet, what do you think?
yeah, what's your,
I mean, I think I'd probably lean towards the bigger lots, just like you said, to differentiate and, kinda have a different offering.
well, like your dad and Rich are over there has kind of a little bit bigger.
Right.
lot.
What size lots are those?
Well, you got what'd you say, an acre over there?
0.95.
Your dad's is pretty.
Well, that's a lot and a half.
Yeah,
that's pretty
That
deep.
was a split.
Yeah, they are.
Oh, yeah, you split one with,
Well, even
Yeah,
before
the
that
it's on
though,
the other side.
even before this,
115 by 289.
is that current?
It's got his house.
Why did it move?
Well, no, but I'm saying.
Oh, no, there's an extra, yeah, there's a parcel next to it.
Well, that's what I'm saying, does that figure
Oh, it doesn't
into
show
to the half lot?
It doesn't. 'Cause I split that one, that's just that size right there.
yeah, so it'd be that's,
You're at another
what is that?
Can you go back to the beacon mark?
115 by 289, so you're probably talking an extra 20,
So he's-
30, no, probably more.
Oh,
I don't know to where we were at,
so,
right there.
Yeah,
57
that's where we're at.
Here.
Yeah, so where those 3 lines are close together,
okay.
it'd be,
Let's see here.
that center line would be then the property line.
Property line.
On this
Okay.
one that says,
So the lots are in here.
Those are just really deep.
Yeah.
So if you look at Rich's at one of them 3, they're all pretty big lots right there, well, even, what's some good big lots? And I mean, we're making a lot bigger, but it's not like huge.
No, it's not.
It'd be compared to like, I used the example before and Matt looked it up, let's say Chris Kilberg's that, where John and Janet live.
Yeah.
Those
It's basically
4
taking a
homes
city
on that,
block.
Oh, yes.
on that square,
Block, yeah.
that would be very comparable, just for reference in your mind.
How big are the ones that are just outside of town there, out there behind Geno's? How big are those lots?
It's probably 3/4 acre.
They're not ours.
Yeah, they're not.
No, but I mean, if you're looking to sell a home, or build homes,
I don't know what those are, I think they vary quite a bit too, don't they? But-
Yeah.
Probably.
But yeah, if you're looking at, hey, someone's gonna build a house, I mean, that's kind of the big lot that I.
The ones on the south side of the road are comparable, ones on the north side are a little bit more
Yeah.
expansive.
All right, who's got a quarter? Let's just flip it.
They're all the same, about 32,000 square foot. Doesn't say,
I guess after seeing that and talking about that, I wouldn't have an issue with going to the larger lots if
Mark gets all his stuff on his
Stuff
end
done,
done.
and
Yep.
then we can get them advertised and get those sold. Mayor, what's
Somebody want
your
to?
decision?
Well, do we need a motion for that?
I think someone should make a motion to put one of the exhibits forward there.
Okay.
So it's either exhibit 3-1 or exhibit 3-2 would be the way you refer to it. 3-2 is the 10 lots, 3-1 is the 12 lots.
Okay, I'll make a motion to move forward with exhibit 3-2, to plat out 10 lots on the McNeil subdivision, west side subdivision.
And again, it'll just be the first 2 lots that we're gonna plat right away, but that'll be the concept, is the 10 lot concept.
Yep, just like Mark said.
Okay, second,
I'll second.
and roll
Let's
call.
see where it goes.
Matt Peterson.
I mean, if they'll pass, then we'll have to go to the exhibit 3.
Yes.
Matt Girardi,
Yes.
Adam Ryder,
Yes.
Rich Peterson,
Yes.
JT.
Yes.
Okay,
Man,
there it is.
Guys just wanna go straight to price?
Okay,
so you'll come back with,
Yes, so,
we can get this, I guess, moving along?
it'll be the final plat of the 2 lots there, and we'll have the,
Street name, and then we got the.
I hope I can do it for your, what is it, the 11th?
11.
I don't see why we wouldn't be able to do that, so that's gonna be the goal here.
Yeah, that'd be good, get that.
What's the thought on the far north lot, selling that as one, or you don't even have thoughts on that yet?
That
North,
goofy
right?
shape,
Yeah,
the.
the T-shaped section.
It
Yeah,
doesn't have to be T-shaped.
Oh, the
Well, I mean,
finger.
it is now, I know.
You can bust that up.
Well.
It's got a road,
and
and then,
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
the
the
road
The
is the
triangle.
T now,
yeah.
right?
Right, we got the street,
It's
and then
really
it
just,
goes up into the
It's
finger.
just the finger now.
And then, let's talk about that later.
yeah.
next meeting. Okay, where are we at here? That was 11, right?
Yep, this
Thanks.
12.
Yep, thank you, Mark.
Thanks, Mark. Good job.
Okay, 12, discuss the 28E agreement, with Easton Valley High School.
Do you wanna talk about it, Mark?
What do you think, should we talk about the plan and do that hearing first, and then, cause then,
Well, all I was going to, what do you, oh, you mean skip this one and,
then that'll inform everybody, then I'll talk about what our plan is through that area,
oh, you're talking about going clear.
the 17.
We can do that.
Yeah, that's fine.
We can skip down to
These are just
17.
numbers on paper.
As long as we hit them all.
Yeah.
And then it'll make more sense.
Okay,
Yeah,
that makes
That's a
2080.
good idea.
Yeah,
Okay, so we'll jump down.
why didn't you give me your comment before now?
Yeah, we remember that.
That was in the agenda, Mark.
You got it on Friday.
Okay, we'll jump 17, resolution 2022-45 to provide for a notice of hearing on proposed plans, specifications, forms of contract, and estimate of cost for the water quality restoration project, and the taking of bids therefore on July 11th, 2022.
So this is a dual resolution here, you're setting the date of the public hearing, which will be, what do we have it?
July 11th.
July 11th. It also sets the date for the bids to be opened at 2 p.m. on July 19th. We're going to, the estimated cost of the sponsored project right now is $220,000 as the construction guys about and, get you guys up to speed with some things here with it. So, let's go to C.
What was it 2 years ago?
Much less. Yeah, I mean, you're only, what are we looking at, $90,000-ish
Yeah.
from the
Sponsored project.
sponsored project, so the
And
remainder of it is
We
city.
did borrow a little extra to help with that, but I think at the time, Mark, wasn't it like 147,000
I think that was the ballpark of
For
where we're at with
last
it.
time? Yeah.
So now we're looking at 220,000. One of the big parts of what's making it a little more expensive is got a pretty substantial maintenance, access, and pedestrian path around this. It's concrete. Right now it's designed as 5-inch over 4-inch PCC. 5-inch PCC over a 4-inch base there. This path goes right down into the top of the cul-de-sac between these two lots here also. That does not have to be concrete. It does have to be
The original
12.
drawing have that in there?
I don't know that we had that on.
I don't remember having any walkway in it.
Yeah. What you've got, it needs to be a 12-foot path, that's the requirement for this project. It does have to be 12 foot wide, but it does not have to be concrete. So, I do think, here's what's gonna happen, the water's gonna come down through here, across the school property. You've got a riprap armored slope protection down into a 4-bay here. And then it'll come out of this 4-bay that's kind of like a clarifying bay here before it gets into the main pond. It'll go over the drive and into the pond, and then you've got an emergency spillway that's lower right here that's gonna go out to this ditch and allow any water after it's caught in this pond to be able to be somewhat of a controlled release down through the swale and out and around the subdivision.
So the path has to be there for maintenance, so for excavation, if any silting in, or what?
It's really just an access path, when we were first conceiving this, project, it was, might be something where people are coming up there, a destination, and that's kinda how it ended up being concrete on that. Again, we don't have to do that, and we can scale that back too, if we want to, as a part of this, but as it's going out to bid, as it's designed right now, it is a concrete path there, and the only thing I would recommend, I think, is that you've got concrete over top of where you're gonna have your spillway, emergency spillway, and also where it goes over the 4-bay. The rest of it, it could be something else there.
Is it lined, or is it just
No,
clay?
no, remember when we were kinda determining, there had some more requirements about, well, if you're gonna have fishing, and we're like, we don't care if it
Yeah.
holds water.
Always
It
dry.
doesn't have to hold water.
Yeah, they were wanting to do a study up there.
Yeah, it was getting real complicated, so no, we don't have any sort of a clay liner to ensure that it's going to be.
Do you know what the savings would be if you don't go with concrete?
Yeah, I think the concrete would be a good idea if it was actually gonna be a pond that we maintain and maintenance where you could go up and walk around there, or kids
Right.
could fish or something like that. But if it's gonna be up and down or sometimes dry, and we're not gonna put anything in there,
Right now, we're estimating 54 grand just for the concrete work.
$200,000 project, that's a fourth of it.
Yeah, it's a quarter.
That's a big chunk.
Yeah.
And
What
someone
maintenance is
still
gonna be
can walk.
required? Is there gonna be grass to be mowed and stuff up there?
Have you looked closely at those maintenance agreements that Kristen,
I read through them, but I can't recall it.
I haven't read through it real closely. I mean, with the sponsored project, they've got all sorts of things that the city must commit to doing on these, and I just have not read that real closely on it. Even if you don't have it concrete, you're still gonna be able to access any maintenance you're gonna need. That concrete isn't gonna help you out as far as your maintenance tasks. It's really more of an aesthetic thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you do not need it, just like you don't have concrete out to the wastewater lagoons, and you can maintain that just the way you need to, you know? Just a rock path. So, it's something to consider here. You know, and by addendum, we could maybe switch this up a little bit too, to, make it where maybe it's just concrete in certain areas. And
My only concern would be kinda like the bike path. If we have that much water that direction, are we gonna wash out any kind of a gravel, limestone?
Okay, you got your overflows there.
I'm still recommending the overflows are concrete.
Okay.
Where it would go over the path in those areas, I think you'll still make it concrete there. Plus, in addition to that, it is going to be armored and riprap in certain areas. So you've got the riprap coming off the forebay, you've got riprap adjacent to the path where it would go out of the forebay and into the main wet pond, and then across the emergency spillway, you've also got riprap there too, to help with those sort of things, dissipate the energy coming off there.
So to access it, then you would actually access that from the cul-de-sac there to drive it, so maintenance, you drive.
You could drive right up through there and right around.
Is that technically part of those properties then? Or is there
You've got,
is that platted off in
I think
between
we've got
that?
an access easement through there.
Oh, I see.
I see.
Okay.
Mm.
And how wide is that? 12 foot?
Looks like 20 feet total, 10 foot on each property. It's not for really drainage anymore. Originally, we were thinking, you know, this might be an overflow, but we rethought that. There's no reason to try to take an overflow down the street and straight down. Now the overflow is gonna head down, through the swale. Much better location for that. It's really just gonna be utilized as maintenance and pedestrian access. through
So
there.
in the plans, that's concreted through there too?
It
That
is.
easement?
It is right now.
I mean, I think
I can
that
see
part
that.
wouldn't be, I wouldn't mind that part being concrete, you know, going through someone's yard.
I can see that
Nice.
for the homeowners next to it to have, but I think once you get, I'm gonna call the track around the top of it.
And
Yeah,
so why don't I look
I
at,
agree with that.
maybe we can have an addendum item that strips away a large chunk of the concrete, except for this would be concrete. From here to here, this 100-foot spillway of sorts, emergency spillway, that's concrete. And then wherever it goes from the forebay across that, that's also remains concrete. And we make the remainder of this like crushed stone or something.
And we always can add concrete later, right, if we ever wanted to,
Yeah.
oh, it's getting utilized a lot, let's add concrete.
The other thing I wanted to talk with you guys about is, we're gonna have roughly 4,400 cubic yards of cut that we need to waste, and I think we should waste it in the subdivision where you felt like you didn't have enough fill on the original one there.
Most definitely.
So, we're gonna wanna, and plus that reduces the cost and not have them have to waste it somewhere else.
Yep.
Do you guys wanna try to just wait till we have it bid and kinda tell them where to waste it? We're gonna let them know that it's gonna just go in the adjacent subdivision there.
I think you suggest to us where we should put it probably in the subdivision.
Okay.
And then will that be in this bid too, is it wherever that waste goes to seed that again?
That's what I'm gonna stabilize it, basically,
Yep.
spread it out nicely, stabilize it.
Yep.
Well, if I could, if it's really crummy stuff, can we put that in the berm down for the firing range? To help build
Well,
up
if
that
it's really
berm
rocky
some
or
more.
something, or-
I mean, I don't know what all you're pulling off of that, to
Yeah.
put in that subdivision, but I get what you're trying to do, but if you need another spot, I think that would be a great place to put it too.
Yeah, if it's something that great material.
You're gonna increase your cost the more you have to drive it away from the site.
I don't think it would be, I mean, it's not gonna be different material than what we've already put down there, is it? How deep are we going?
Let's see here. Oh, too much. Let's see here. There we go. So it looks about 12 feet, 12, 13 feet deep in that area. Now, the existing contours look like they're 662, 663 here. So yeah, again, this isn't something that, remember how there was some concerns, oh, we're gonna create a dam above this, but really it's getting sunk down in there. You're not gonna have this big dam.
I think your point's taken, if we end up with a bunch of rocky material, by all means.
Yeah, that's why I was just giving it an alternative spot,
I
so,
don't think so either.
yeah, just an alternative spot that.
Yeah, yeah, no, good thought.
Yeah, I think wherever, you know, engineering thinks that should go in that subdivision, I think.
Okay, yeah,
What kind
I'll
of-
make sure I clear it with you guys and kinda.
Again, as long as we stabilize it and seed it.
Right. Yeah, just so they don't pile it and walk away from it.
That sounds good. Okay, so the grass swale, just so you know, this is where you're gonna be somewhat creating more pronounced waterway through the school property here. So this is towards the 2080 agreement discussion. We're gonna go ahead and make it where this swale that's not very pronounced and during a major rainstorm historically, but apparently not lately, has run over into the football field here. Now it's gonna be more pronounced, and this water that's coming off here will definitely make its way in a very defined grass swale that's mowable.
Is
And
that
that's
more like
really-
where the roadway is up there by the fence line, or?
yeah, it's not much of a roadway, more like a grass
It
roadway,
used to be a
right?
roadway, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone just parked.
It'd be on the, south side of the crow's nest.
Here's the,
Yeah.
the box here,
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the old,
right behind it there.
Right.
Where the fence goes between the Marvins and the school property, they put kind of a berm there, a dike, so that the water can't get through, but as you come further down where it did, you can see where the water is actually coming down and flowing across over and going over into the,
Into the field.
Football
in,
field.
Oh, really?
well, not
Yeah.
into the football
Oh,
field,
okay.
going, it comes across and goes over into where they're gonna put the track, that direction, and then down over into, it's washing out and going down into the subdivision.
Yeah.
Oh.
So it's got a
Pull underneath the
natural-
park over there, I think that's where it's going along.
Yeah, so it's got a natural, already a natural way, it's already
Is
headed
the
that
old baseball
direction.
field or softball field or whatever that is?
I haven't been back there, it's changed so much, cause there's been so much stuff piled back there, and
What are you talking about?
Is that
I-
where you're saying it's washing into, is where they park? Like for
No.
kids and
No,
stuff?
remember, we
No.
used to, you used to park, drive in there.
used to be a little practice field, like.
Practice field right there, that's where.
Oh,
That used to
down
be-
below.
that used to be-
Down
Now there's
below.
just piles of dirt.
Now
Yes,
piles
there's no
of dirt.
maintenance, there's just
Yeah.
dump there.
That's where everything's going to?
Yeah,
Okay,
There's kind of a grove of trees back there.
Right.
yeah,
right.
Yeah.
so the idea is to make that so the water,
Yeah, we wanna make sure the water
Gotcha.
funnels down.
Used to be a road, between the fence and the crow's nest there, and it would just follow that
Right.
road and go right.
Right.
Mhm.
Which,
So Jack and I met with Dick Keeney and Jesse and Cliff today up there and looked at it. And then we're looking, Mark and I, to get on the school board agenda It is a requirement that we get a 28E agreement with the school. And,
So they will maintain that grass ditch and on their, obviously their property.
and they just wanna make sure that it's doable that way.
Yeah.
Sorry, I have moved totally into the next agenda item.
No, that's okay. So, that's it, so yes, the estimate right now is $220,000 for this project as designed. I'm just glad to be moving to this point. It's been a heck of a journey.
So when would we anticipate that going out for bid?
You are actually taking action tonight. The action you take with this resolution 2022-45 sets your public hearing on the plans and specs for July 11th, and it sets the bid date and allows us to put these plans on the street. And the bids will be opened on July 19th and then we'll take them, look at them, make sure whoever wins it is a responsive bidder, and then we'll make recommendation for the July 25th council meeting.
And a late start date on something like that project would be.
Oh, so, yeah, let's talk a little bit about start dates, and completion dates. So,
Just dig a hole. I mean, come on.
we wanna have it substantially complete by November 4th, 2022. And that means everything done, everything done but the seeding. Everything but the seeding, because we're gonna be out of the seeding window there. So then final completion will be May 15th, 2023, and all the seeding will have to be
We were out of
completed.
seeding date last year too, and it came up nice.
Well, I'm grateful for that. They may opt to seed and, take a gamble there, I don't know. And we do call out hydro seeding. We're not gonna blow hay all over the neighborhood.
Thank you.
Heard about that.
Couple
Out of
times.
all the construction up there, the biggest complaint
Yeah.
was when they threw
The
the
straw.
the straw
The
down.
straw.
Down in the
Not the
windstorm.
noise, not the dust, the straw.
Okay.
So, I
I guess, just cause we had issues last time, what happened when they don't get it done by November?
$800 per calendar day for both substantial completion date and the final completion date. So, if they don't have the work completed by November 4th, the substantial completion, then you have the ability to incur $800 per calendar day after that until they get it substantially complete. Then that stops the hemorrhaging on the substantial completion, liquidated damages. And then if they don't have the final done by May 15th, that would start that clock on $800 per calendar day. So,
Okay.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so that was resolution 2022-45, right?
Right.
Okay. So does anybody have any other questions regarding anything with that for Mark? Are we just going to eliminate the concrete up there then? Are you gonna?
yeah, and again, I don't know if I can get the design team to have it done by the time they get what they're putting on the street is, but then I'll ask them to do it by a minimum by addendum to change that, so that will get changed. I am going to change it to that. I just don't know if it's gonna be in the initial offering to the bidders or if it's by addendum.
Is that what council's in agreement to do, is to eliminate that concrete path?
Yeah, I like
Except for
that.
where Mark recommended we
Right.
put it, yeah.
But I think for clarification though, you said $50,000, but that would be all the concrete.
All of it. So
So
it's not
it would
gonna
not be-
eliminate 50,000, it's gonna
Exactly.
cut it in
Yeah.
half or something like that.
Sure.
But again, you may have a little more rock you put down, so I mean, it's gonna cut the cost though.
to make a motion on that?
And that's to approve the 2245, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Did you make a copy of that in your package?
The 2245? No.
No.
What was the question?
He asked if we got
17,
the,
that drawing.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution, 2022-45.
Second,
A second.
and roll call please.
Matt Peterson,
Yes.
Matt Girardi,
Yep.
Adam Ryder,
Yes.
JT Thompson,
Yes.
Rich Peterson.
Yes.
Okay, so now we'll jump back up to 12 and discuss the 28E agreement, with East Valley High School.
I don't have a copy of that in front of me, but,
I do, or did. In my
I don't know
past.
if you've changed anything.
I didn't change anything. Really, it's rather straightforward. And it's just a real simple, that we're actually going to be, putting a waterway and disturbing 40 feet of the school's property, in order to tie it in, and that the grass swale will be 770. I mean, it'll be a total of the grass way of 770 feet. I took that right out of Kristen's
Description of the work.
description,
Okay.
so,
So you want us to, well, we can't vote on that.
you don't have to do anything. It was more to let you know that we'll be going to the school and getting school approval on this.
Okay,
And then it'll be on the July 11th meeting.
okay.
Well, maybe. It depends when their school board meeting is. So it may be the end of July.
Yeah, I think we're gonna miss it for the next meeting.
Yeah, cause I
It's
think
like
they're,
the middle of the month usually.
yeah, well,
Yeah.
yeah, cause I think it's like she said today the 13th, was the school board meeting, but then I just need to confirm, is it the 13th or is it later? I know they had some conflicts, so. So that's the plan, and then you'll get a copy of the 2080 agreement. And like I said, it's pretty straightforward. But really all it is designating exactly where on the property, and they agree that it can go on the property. And it is required, and it was I feel, an 11th hour thing.
Yeah, we didn't know it was required, but.
Yeah, the DNR made it a requirement, which is why we're
Figured.
kinda, I feel, scrambling,
Right.
to comply with what they're looking for, so. So
Okay.
that's all I had on that.
Good,
Did you have anything else?
I do not.
Okay. Then you're free to go.
Right.
See, this is why he moved that agenda.
Thank you.
Not even denying it, is he?
Yeah, I know for all this stuff.
Alright, well, thanks, everybody.
Thanks,
A lot of
Mark.
good decisions made tonight, so.
Yep.
Yeah, thanks, Mark.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, so we're good on the agreement then, right? Everything's good with that? 2080.
I think anybody have any other questions regarding that?
No, I think we're good. You'll bring that to the table, and,
Yes.
yeah, I think it's pretty straightforward.
Okay. Okay, so then we will jump down, let's move down to 13, approve resolution 2022-44, a resolution supporting an application for Ellis Properties LLC, 2022 workforce housing tax credits. And so this is again, kind of, we touched on a little bit, with the urban revite, resolution.
And the developer is applying for tax credits, And in order for him to be able to apply for these tax credits, of course, he has to be doing something for us. And in turn, we're doing something for him. And so it is stated in there, that the city of Preston is committing to a 10-year, 50% property tax rebate on this. And thanks, Mark. So, he will need this resolution to go with his application, which is due July 1st.
Well, good. So it's all ready to go, we just gotta vote on it?
Yes, approve the resolution.
Well, I approve resolution, motion to approve, 2022-44.
Second,
Second.
roll call please.
Rich Peterson,
Yes.
Matt Peterson,
Yes.
Matt Girardi,
Yeah.
Adam Ryder,
Yes.
JT Thompson.
Yes.
Okay, 14, approve ordinance 2022-07, an ordinance repealing the Preston Code of Ordinances by amending and repealing a portion of Title 6, 4,
4.
Physical Environment, Chapter 7, Utilities, Billing Charges, 6-7-11, refuse collection rates.
The
That's-
reason this came forward is during budget time, we had discussed, different charges. So what has, changed in this is actually, none of the pricing has changed for, small through large, commercial rates. Industrial, we have added the industrial rate, and that is for 6+ containers or dumpsters. And then, we also said about being charged 5 cents per pound, which is what we've been doing with some of the one large one we have anyway. And then, we did add in, which is something that at the time we were discussing budget wasn't an issue, but since then, gas prices have been going up. Now they have come down, but did add that at the discretion of the Preston City Council, a gas surcharge may be applied. So just leaving the door open, that you may not wanna raise rates, that if gas is high, you may wanna add a little bit and then take it off when gas comes back down. It seems to be the American way.
So this gas option, so anytime you wanted to raise it or lower it or take it away, that's brought to council every time? Or is that
Oh, yeah.
something-
That'd have to come to council, and that's how it was. It's at the discretion of council,
Okay.
so.
So, you said before large was getting charged, could get charged by the pound too, but that got switched to industrial because now industrial is your biggest one.
Mhm.
So I understand that.
Correct.
So there is no large or higher, medium can't get charged by the pound. just industrial.
They haven't been.
Okay. Depending on volume, so who makes that decision then?
It's the number of dumpsters, and it's, I guess what it really comes down to, if you've just got 6 dumpsters, and maybe you're not even filling them up, then potentially Eric would say they didn't have that much, they shouldn't be charged
Should be charged what, by the pound?
by the pound. But,
But I'm confused by the maybe, so I mean, if they have 6, should it just be, should you have an industrial?
Is it 150
Second
plus
one, I mean,
5 cents a
that-
pound?
shall I
I just
just?
don't like the gray area there.
Okay, shall we just say industrial, establishments will be charged?
I think so, it's 150,
Keep it
minimum,
clear?
the 5 cents
Yeah,
per pound on top of that,
Okay,
150.
right, yeah,
That-
I don't like the maybe either.
I just, it's hard, when you have that gray area, it's hard to say.
Well, you'd have to be sure you have the justification as to why or why not
Right.
the whys.
And they're getting charged 5 cents a pound now. anyway,
Yes, yes,
So they're used to paying it anyhow, so.
yes.
Okay. Yeah, I like that.
And those, like I said, those are the two items that were changed in this ordinance.
I think I asked this question before, but I don't know. How do we know by how many pounds they have? Is the industrial, is that usually just one load? And
They, weigh the truck before,
so they weigh it here in town?
yes.
Okay.
And then they go over and pick it up and then they go weigh it again.
Okay,
And they actually have a weight ticket.
yep, perfect.
Okay. Any other discussion needed on that? If not, I will ask for a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance 2022-07
Are you approving the first reading?
with the changing of the, take the may be charged, will be charged.
And could we change gas to fuel?
Oh, yeah. Good point.
Okay, second?
I'll second.
And roll call, please.
Matt Peterson,
Yes.
Matt Girardi,
Yes.
Adam Ryder,
Yes.
JT Thompson,
Yes.
Richard Peterson.
Yes.
Okay, 15, public hearing on the fiscal year 2022 budget amendment. So I will ask for a motion to open the public hearing.
I'll make a motion to open the public hearing.
Second,
Second.
roll call, please.
Just a minute, I'm behind. Who seconded that?
I did that.
I'm sorry, I missed that. Matt Girardi,
Yep.
Adam Ryder,
Yes.
JT Thompson,
Yes.
Rich Peterson,
Yes.
Matt Peterson.
Yes.
I did not have any public comment about the amendment.
Okay, no public comment, and seeing as how there's no, public persons here, I will ask for a motion to close the public hearing.
Motion closed.
Second,
Second.
and roll call, please.
Adam Ryder,
Yes.
JT Thompson,
Yes.
Rich Peterson,
Yes.
Matt Peterson,
Yes.
Matt Girardi.
Yep.
Okay, 16, approve resolution 2022-43, approving the budget amendment for the fiscal year 2022 budget.
Did anybody have any questions?
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2022-43.
Second,
Second.
roll call, please.
JT Thompson,
Yes.
Rich Peterson,
Yes.
Matt Peterson,
Yes.
Matt Girardi,
Yes.
Adam Ryder.
Yes.
Okay, we will jump down to 18, approve resolution 2022-46, a resolution to approve the State of Iowa Community Development Block Grant Coronavirus Procurement Policy. So this is in correlation with our grant that we got for the town hall, so
It's all
This is just
procedural
a- yeah.
because it's a community block grant.
legal paperwork.
Well, I make a motion then to approve the resolution 2022-46.
Second,
Second.
roll call, please.
Adam Ryder,
Yes.
JT Thompson,
Yes.
Rich Peterson,
Yes.
Matt Peterson,
Yes.
Matt Girardi.
Yes.
19, discuss and approve a building permit for Megan Corbusier for a fence installation.
Jack actually went over there and, reviewed it and talked to them and measured it out, and it all falls into line and shouldn't be a problem.
That was my only question, I had a chance to look at the ordinances, but it falls in that, I think she says she's 13 feet off the alleyway, but it falls in property line, follows ordinances and everything,
Yes,
okay?
Yep.
Where's that at exactly?
Two
right
houses down from We Care.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
It's-
okay.
Orvis old house.
Okay.
Who's all that?
Orvis.
Oh, I was trying to think whose house that was too, okay.
And I guess the only question I had too was just, it doesn't say anything about fence height, it's not a 14-foot fence, it's a 6-foot fence or something, right? It's-
no, it's nothing,
Yeah, just for clarification.
it's, yeah, yep.
Can't afford to go taller.
Uh-huh.
Can't afford to go any taller than 6 foot.
Yeah, like cost of everything.
Well, it falls back on Jack, so.
Yep, if there's any issues, it's on Jack.
Okay, I'll ask for a motion to approve then.
I'll make a motion to approve the building permit for Megan Cordes here.
Second?
Second.
Roll call please.
Who called second?
Whatever.
Okay. JT Thompson,
Yes.
Rich Peterson,
Yes.
Matt Peterson,
Yes.
Matt Girardi,
Yes.
Adam Ryder.
Yes.
Okay. Get back to my- 20, discuss and consider approving resolution 2022-38, approving salary adjustments for city employees as of July 1, 2022. So this was tabled from last meeting. I guess I will just open it up to discussion and, council can take it however would like.
Well, I guess for the council members that weren't here, you know, I think if we're gonna give raises and everything, we should have a full council, or real close to a full council. And also, I guess I was looking at, I guess the wage and how things are going now, and trying to retain employees. And I'd like to, you know, give them more money, I guess, that's kind of, so that's why I was tabled for more discussion, I guess. So, and then I know you council members that were, together to come up with the percentage, I guess I wanted to hear your guys' thoughts, so.
So did you have an amount in mind, like beyond what's stated here?
Well, my thought would be like, I'm not against the percentage, I think, what was that, 3.5? I think 3.5 is fine, but I would like to give each employee like $1 an hour on their base, and then give them 3.5%. And that dollar is, I guess, I look at it as more retention. Some of these, I guess, employees here could go somewhere else for what they're making pretty easy. And prices are high, and we have good employees, and I feel as a council member, that's what we should do. But I'd like to hear everyone else's thoughts.
I guess I can speak up a little bit about, you know, we had the personnel meeting. First of all, I wanna say we have great employees, and we're lucky to have who we have, you know, so none of my comments are aimed at any employees or anything, but we talked about, again, like you said, you know, JT, you know, things are going up, we completely understand that, inflation is out of control at this point in time, but there's different ways to look at that, you know, it'd be nice to give, our employees, you know, extra money, let's say, to help, accommodate for inflation. I don't disagree with that, but we also talked about, you know, every other citizen that lives in this town that are paying for, the raises and and stuff, are they getting those, increases too for inflation or not? I don't know, I can't answer that, you know, I don't know that everybody is, but to ask people in tough times to pay more out of their pockets when times are already tough was subject to, that was conversation we had. Again, not saying right or wrong,
Yeah.
just saying it was conversation that, you know, there's a lot of families in this community that are paying wages for our employees and paying taxes that everything's going up, and that's everywhere around. But to put more strain on families and stuff right now in this time, is that the right thing to do? I don't know, but that was part of our conversation when we came up with 3.5. We talked about, you know, some of these employees on this list are fairly new, and I think, and tell me if I'm wrong, Teresa, but I think everybody that we've hired, we have given more money than where they came from. So I think that says something about, I think, where our wages are a little bit too. Nobody took less money to come work for us. We gave everybody more money to do so. In the 6 years or so that I've been on, we've done it several different ways. We've given, you know, 3.5 or 2.5 or 4, whatever it's been, just a % increase across the board. And we've also done it where some employees, let's just say we gave up 50 cents or $1.
Yeah.
And to try to get some more people up, you know, higher than, you know, obviously the more money you make in a %, you make more than the person making less. So we tried to do that. We've picked people out that we felt were making not enough money and giving them raises. So I think we've been proactive to bring raises up, start people at decent wages, things like that. Yeah, I don't know. Again, we want retention is huge. Our employees, what they do for this community is huge. We're lucky to have who we have. But I also think we need to look at a complete benefit package. We had a lot of discussion about that. You know, if you take a benefit package that our city employees have compared to our average citizen, you know, you can take in vacation and retirement and all those things. And again, we talk about gas prices going up. Our city employees, and most of them are fortunate enough to live and not have to, every time gas prices go up, you lose a little bit more money. People that travel in and out of our town versus working here in town. Again, it goes back to my other comment about asking our citizens to give more. So I think, you know, when you look at complete benefit packages, what our city employees have, I don't just like looking at hourly wages all the time. I think you need to look at the whole lump sum, and that's what employers try to do, is say, your benefit package is worth this. You know, and our benefit package, again, I can't say $1 right now, I'm not sure what that is, but our benefit package in town compared to, you know, probably what average citizen is making is pretty good, you know, and which is great, I'm glad it is. That's huge, but, you know, time off and again, retirement and all that really adds up. You know, they're fortunate enough, the hours, they, you know, they get to go to summer hours and do things like that. Those are all perks, I think, so I want to just look at that we take that into consideration too, that whole package. Again, I'd love to give everybody, you know, as much as we can. That's great. But I think we're asking a lot out of everybody else in our community too at this time to do that.
Would they get these benefits though, you know, this benefit package of vacation, health, all that stuff in any other city employee job if they were to go to Macokota, like JT said, retention? We do have a good package, but does do they have a good package in comparison to what we have? I guess I don't know.
And I think some of our employees have come from those areas.
Yeah.
So it is my counter to that.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Well, we had a policeman that came from another department that was local. We had our water guy came from Macokota, not working for the city.
Yeah,
but
that's who I was thinking
yeah,
of, is he
but
didn't,
we've had people come from other entities.
but,
And, you know, and we gave a raise to that person. They made more money coming here to take the position here in Preston.
To me, that's the scary part, because it seems to me these positions we filled in after somebody had left, we're paying them a couple, $2, $3, $4 an hour more than the previous person, just to get somebody to apply to come here. That's the part that scares me. I mean, well, Tim would be one of them. Now, granted, he had all the certifications coming to offer up that bigger package, but if any one of these
Tim got more money to come work for us, and we've been fortunate to get good applicants. It's not like we have it, that could change next time, we don't want anybody.
Yeah, right.
Our
Yeah.
whole plan is to retain 100%, because we're so fortunate to have the employees we have. But,
The problem is anymore, cities are not requiring their employees to live in the city they work. And they're out and right stealing employees from other cities. They have headhunters, and they'll offer more. You know, the big thing is you hope that you're keeping your employees happy and satisfied. And, you know, along with everything else, so, you know, that's what's going on, I read it every day. People are looking, I mean, water and sewer is huge. Yeah,
To me, it boils down to trying to find that, and it's not a perfect world, but trying to find that balance where, you know, you're keeping employees happy, you know, you're giving them as much as you can, but on the other hand, you know, in this role that we're all in, you know, our other job too is to look at, you know, being fiscally responsible for the community and where, you know, where is that balance? It's hard, especially right now with the way things are trending and so much is unknown, you know, where we're going, so that's where the, you know, the hard part comes in for me is trying to find that nice balance and that way, you know, keep everybody happy, but, you know, do the right thing for the community as well.
Rich, thoughts? Let's get this aired out.
JT, I like where your heart is. I don't know, I don't really have to, like we just said. Times are tough, everybody's got tough times right now. Inflation the way it is, gas prices out of control. People are already strapped. And this is gonna come back when it comes to budget time. And we're gonna have to look at it and we're gonna say, oh yeah, that's what we did. So then we're gonna have to back that up. To reward that extra dollar. I don't know. That's what I'm saying, is just, I don't know if our pockets are that deep, or we should be that.
Well, yeah, and it does come down to money, so I guess that's, you know, if we offer more money, well, even down the line, offer more money. It's gotta come from somewhere, correct?
I understand, I believe in everything you're saying as far as, yeah, we're proving grounds for a lot of police departments or sheriff's departments, because, yeah, we get them in, we put them through boot camp, get them up, get them certified, and boom, they're gone.
and then the next one come again, that's a little bit more money, a little bit more money.
If I could interact though, I think you're exactly right, but I think Macocota is seeing it, Clinton PD is seeing it, Clinton County is, sheriff's officer use that as an example. People are swarming there, the money, the take-home car, those are big factors right now.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Yeah,
as they may leave Preston to go to Macocota, they're leaving Macocota to go to somewhere that's got better benefits. And I'm just using the law enforcement. And that's a big trend, because I've never seen as many communities that are seeking police officers right now in my entire career than right now, I guess.
I think you're right, but you can say that for the entire workforce. I think you can pick any, profession that's out there, and it's the exact same story.
Truck driver,
I don't care what
mechanic,
it is.
everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're down to.
It's everything.
They're down, you know, they're gonna be down 2 city guys from Macocota, they're down, I mean, it's just everywhere. So basically, whoever has the better benefits or money, that's where they're drawn to.
And again, I go back to, you look at the package, again, I don't have numbers to compare, but
Yeah.
we all know that package is pretty good.
Yeah, and I have one of those packages, so I'm probably a little biased, you know, because I have that, I've been in that
we probably have 3 people that could potentially apply for Macokota and be qualified for the jobs there and leave.
For a higher wage,
Yeah, they start
Yeah.
at 24 starts at.
Yeah.
For what position, what are you talking about?
Well, there was, the Hertzville Center was looking for an office manager. And I know two people, one, we don't control their salary, but the 2 people would be way qualified for that position. And they would start out with more than what they're going to even be getting with the 3.5%, with another $1 raise within a year. And then we've got the city of Macokota that,
The street department just put out an ad, I think it's 24 to start, 27.
the thing that I hate to see is an attitude develop. Cause once somebody feels that they're not being paid fairly, then, and they find a different position, generally, you're not going to be able to pay them to stay. And quite frankly, at that point, you probably don't want to. That's the only thing I hate to see, and I would agree with you, we have very awesome employees.
Yeah, and I agree with those comments too, but when I look at these salaries, I don't think, to me, they're not out of line for the positions that they fall in. I don't, you can always have people that chase money, you can't stay ahead of that. You have people that get just, that are upset with what they get, that's a different story, and I completely understand what you're saying. At that point, you don't want them around.
You know, we agree.
But, with 3.5%, I mean, again, inflation's more than that, I completely understand.
I guess, I'm speaking out of turn, and I do it often, but and I'm sorry, but I just feel that Eric deserves more. He's got the same certifications as Jack. The same exact certifications as Jack. In fact, all of us have to have a certain level of certifications to even answer the phone. I mean, I can have somebody answer the phone if I'm there, but if it's a gas call, I gotta get on the phone. Just because we cannot just have anybody answering the phone because of the gas itself. And that's my thought. I feel we're not even getting him up to $20 an hour. I mean,
yeah,
that
I think you end up
is,
catching below 20.
that's
Yeah, that was the one that stuck out to me.
a barely livable wage where we're at. And I'm sorry, I said too much. I'll shut up.
Oh, it's,
No, that's fine.
No, I wanna hear that.
I wanna hear everybody's opinion. But yeah, looking on this list, I guess, there's probably 3 on here at least, I would think they need more money, but I look at Caroline's, that just blows me away, and then Eric's, and then Tim, I think for what the certification he has and everything, to keep him, if we lose him, that's gonna be crazy.
He's gonna be hard to find. He'll probably be your toughest person to replace if he left.
Yes,
It'd be Tim.
I agree.
Yeah.
Cause you're gonna have to get the people to come in and do the water and all that, we're lucky to get him.
You know, I think Miles is paying around $12,000 a year to do the testing that theirs can't do, and that Tim could do. So, I mean, there in itself is,
Yeah.
That's what we would have had to pay, yes.
But how do we all break this down? I mean,
Yeah, can you nitpick
yeah, to
a
make
select few?
yeah, that's probably not gonna be fair.
I don't
either.
think
No,
that's a
no.
good way to go about it.
Yeah.
Again, I agree with Tim's got great qualifications, and again, we're fortunate to have him, I'll say that about everybody we have here, But again, I will say with Tim, when we gave him more money to come here from where he was at, it's not like we're paying him, we dropped his wages to come here, we didn't do that.
No.
We gave him more money to come here.
But What's your thoughts, Adam, you're pretty quiet over there.
Well, like I said, I think, yeah, there's some that kind of jump out, like they might be a little low, like Teresa said, you know, Eric is probably the one that jumps out the most.
What's everybody's thoughts of doing a flat rate across the board? Whatever the dollar amount be. Is it a hard no, or is it a maybe?
What do you mean?
Like JT suggested, if we just went for the base,
$1 in
whether it's,
the 3.5.
whatever council decides it is. You know, I don't care if you start at 50 cents and go to whatever.
Well, I've seen.
That doesn't help your gap with the people you think that you're paying too less. It doesn't,
Nope.
it doesn't help even that gap if you continue to do that.
True. I guess to me, the gap will fix itself, depending on longevity, right?
Exactly.
I mean,
You know, use Eric for the example. He's got his qualifications and stuff and like that. We know. Again, I can't say he's a shoo-in because we don't know that for sure. That's the intention, is to bring him up, right? And he's got that education and stuff, and hopefully he'll be able to step into Jack's shoes as the gas guy. Again, I say that loosely because that all depends on where things lie and how that happens. But, you know, that's not a long ways down the road. Again, we can adjust it when we want to, but it will come. But that doesn't help today.
How do you see the gap getting smaller? 'Cause if you give everybody 3.5%, the bigger you're bigger, the smaller you're gonna stay on the small end.
Well, what you're looking at is the 3.5% on there,
right.
so.
Well, it goes back to your comment earlier, I guess, about, you know, picking and choosing. Is that a good way to do it? I don't think it is, personally. I think it's either gotta be across the board or it's nothing. That's just my,
Well, I agree with that if we're gonna make a decision to do it now, but yeah, I think if we're gonna pick somebody, cause we've done that, we did give Eric a little bit more money in the past, just because of his work performance and where he was at, you know,
Well, he came on board with no credentials, he stepped right up to the plate.
yeah.
We've done that to more than just
Yes.
him too. There's been, you know,
Yeah.
I think Cheryl, we've done that too in the past and helped get wages up there and stuff. We've done that to other individuals, so. Time.
So I guess besides me, I just want to hear, I mean, I'm willing to give them more, you know, $1 or whatever a top. Who else is in favor of doing something like that?
I'd be on board with that. If you can't sit and, you know, line 3, 4, whatever it is, to go across, I think that's reasonable.
How are you talking, all employees or just full-time employees?
Yeah, like I don't think part-time summer help, right? Does that fall in line with $1?
Well,
And you got
even
one
on
in
here
summer,
though,
right, 2 months ago?
the part-timers and Jacob didn't actually, you know, they actually
They're
didn't
not-
get a raise.
yeah, they're not getting the 3.5.
They're not getting the 3.5.
Oh, okay.
That's just
Okay.
stating.
The
that.
bottom,
Just stated.
the bottom 3 are not the 3.5.
Okay.
Caroline actually was at 15.53 an hour and is getting raised up
So
to.
she got, yeah.
You know,
So we're talking 6 hourly employees, 2 salary.
Yes.
Now, let's pick on Bill for a second.
That's okay.
I mean, we have a signed contract at a certain percentile raise over a certain period of time, right?
Mm,
I mean, does,
No,
we didn't have that after the first, I don't remember,
no. we-
probationary
It
period?
is
that
6
we just-
months.
Oh, he had his.
Yeah, he hit that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
Last month then, right? 6 months was last month or
yes,
something?
yep,
So it's just the 6 months.
yep,
Yeah,
he got raised up.
I think I started $3,000 less than what the previous chief made,
Correct.
and now I'm up to where the previous chief was,
Yes.
Okay.
so.
We're talking 12 to 15,000 a year. 2,000 working hours.
Mhm.
6,080 is working hours.
You know, this year, but it obviously goes up drastically
goes
more
up.
every year then.
Right.
Correct.
Mhm.
Yeah, good point, cause then if you go back to the 2.5 every year, it's snowballs.
Which is, not saying that's bad. just
Yeah.
Right.
Think it all the way through.
Yep, yep,
Yeah.
yep.
Yeah, long term, yeah.
What about, just throwing this out there, what about doing, just raising instead of 3.5, just bumping the percentage up?
That's what I thought, and just even, do like a 0.5% or?
You're talking, what, 10 cents? Something?
Well, it depends what we make.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it, you know, if we did that, we could at least negotiate a little bit. If it was bumped up a little bit, I feel like I got a win, I guess. But, you know, or is this something that, you know, we deal with this, but then we do really need to look at but we have personnel to deal with that. You guys already met, and this, why circumvent that, that's, you know.
Well, this is good discussion.
Do you mind if I interact a little bit here with you? What if you did 4% for everybody and then made sure that all the full-time employees were at least at $20 an hour? You know what I mean? Bumps, you know, give them 4% and then, but making sure that,
What's that?
so if we're talking about Eric and he's under 20, get him up to 20 and then give him 4%. Same with Cheryl.
Cheryl's at 20, right? Cheryl's
Yeah,
at 20.
Cheryl's
This
With
would
her-
take, that 4% would take everybody over 20 anyway.
Well, this is,
Right?
not necessarily, cause this is with the 3.5% already.
Oh,
so-
that's with it.
Yeah,
This
this
is,
is-
yeah.
Oh,
this is-
Yeah.
So I guess that's what, I don't know, I mean, I
Yeah,
think that, I mean, when you can go
Well,
to,
yeah, 0.5% on
Yeah.
top of that.
I mean, you can go to Hy-Vee right now and make $19 an hour, you know, and I just think that everybody
That's
here's
nice.
got a hell of a lot
No,
more
no.
responsibility.
Without the benefits though. Look at the
Right,
benefits.
that's kind of what
I'm with you,
You
I
gotta-
agree,
two different things to look at.
and they're great benefits, I'm not arguing that, so.
So if you raised it up to 4%, what would Eric make then? Or
77, 1977.
He'd be shy, yeah.
Yeah, and I just don't wanna single him out like, oh, we're gonna give, you know,
No, I don't wanna see that
you know,
either.
I don't think that's.
Well, we just did that a few months ago.
Yeah. So what's on the table now is 3.5%.
That's these numbers that we're
That's-
looking at, yeah.
Yep.
So I guess as a council member, we're going back to personnel here. Would you guys be in favor to bring this up to like 4%, even 4.5 for these employees? Not talking about putting $1 on their base or anything like that, just, you know,
Bring the percentage up.
just bring the percentage up. I guess, well, or would you guys be willing to entertain that? You know,
Let me throw this out there. I honestly do like Bill's idea there. I know we're singling out again, and I hate to do that. If anybody spoke up about that, it's probably me. But just listen to the conversation, trying to be open and hearing what everybody's saying. And it is hard to argue, you know, with Eric and what he does for us and what we see him to grow and want to inspire and on all those kind of things. That 20 hour, that $20, you know, minimum, that's a good, easy way to put it. You know, but I think we shouldn't single people out again in the future so much. I think we need to focus more on this time to do it. Make sure when we're hiring, we're trying to be as, in the ranges we need to be. You know, I think we have done that.
Yeah.
I'm not saying we haven't, but just make sure we
Well,
are.
things have changed so much over the last
Oh my God.
years,
it's-
2
it's-
years.
Yeah.
Unprecedented times is what it is. You know, and
No, I think at the time when we hired her,
I think we've been very proactive in our hiring.
Yeah.
And that's where I started my comments out with, that we've given people more money, and so I don't want people that are listening thinking that we tried to cut wages when we hired people.
Oh,
So
no.
we've been total opposite of that.
You know, kind of to your point earlier, you know, trying to be good stewards of the taxpayers, and, you know, costs are going up for the taxpayers, but then also for our employees too. There has to be kind of a happy medium.
Right.
Yep, exactly, because it's tough on everybody. It's tough on our city employees, and it's tough on everybody that's paying the wages. It's tough times, and when will they end, and if they will end, but. So to answer your question, JT,
I mean, I like those idea, you know, if we can mix something in there, I'm just,
you know, when we sat down in our personnel meeting, we all came back in different areas. And then, you know, how like we sit here and we come to a happy medium, and we all agree to support each other. And that's what we did, so we went a wide, range before.
yeah, and I take the personnel committee, you know, that's what you guys are on, and I don't take that lightly either, but I think we need to discuss this.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I think we're lucky to have the council that we have, because we do appreciate each other's thoughts and values in our committees, and we continue to do that, and that means a lot. That's why we have us, that's why we trust each other, we support each other.
That's why I'm asking you as a council member, you're on the personnel committee, what you just heard from all of us, are you willing to change the resolution to, I guess, help at least one employee out, or everybody, or, and there's other people on that.
Well, I'm willing to go, for sure, I don't wanna I'm willing to go to the $20 minimum. I think that's huge. So whether I'm at 3.5 or 4, I guess I'd like to hear some other thoughts before I
What are your
speak on
thoughts,
that more.
Rich?
Yeah, Richard, you're on the personnel committee, what do you? Matt, still at the 3.5?
I'm sitting there kicking my own ass trying to figure out how the hell we got in this pickle.
Cause JT likes to discuss things.
Well, I think it just goes back to unprecedented times. It just goes back to, we're places we haven't been, and we're just trying to, retention's huge, inflation's huge.
And things change every year.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why
There's just so
we're
much volatility in everything right now.
here. Yeah, I don't think that this council's been reactive. I think we've been proactive. I think we're trying to be proactive here.
So that's what I thought too, and, you sit there and look at this, and go, geez, how did this get so volatile? Oh, that's the word I'm thinking of.
Well, we've asked more, I wanted to use Eric's name out, because we've talked about that again. We've asked Eric to step up more than what we, would have had that position in the past. Is that a true statement?
That is true.
Okay, so I think that maybe helped answer your question a little bit, Rich. The person that we're really talking about here, we've asked to step more. He's asked to take on more responsibility, and you never want to hold an employee back, so you give him more responsibility and help. Tell
He
me if I'm
does
saying
it
something wrong.
and he does it willingly.
So the
Does it
position-
willingly, and I even go, this shouldn't affect his wage, but look what his family does after hours and stuff for this community.
Yeah.
I think it shows a lot that he is a community member,
Yeah,
and will
he's
be a
a
community
community
member.
spirited
Want to be a
people,
community
no.
member.
I talked to Jack Beckel, and I said about the wage, and he said, yeah, it's, well, Jack, Jack, he'll take wherever he goes. Person that really needs a pay increase is here. That's what he told me.
And I say all that too, but I'll also say, on the other side, Eric's only been here a short time. He has got very good raises. We have singled him out before to give him raises. There's a bright future for Eric here shortly,
Oh,
hopefully.
yeah.
And sometimes you gotta put your time in to get the better too. So,
Well, I think
there's a
if he
happy,
made
there's a
20
happy
bucks an
medium
hour,
in the whole thing.
I think Lisi would be $20 an hour minimum.
So it'd be 20 minimum, and then the percentage of whatever you guys decided on top of that, so if
Yeah,
it was,
and that's
Yeah,
gonna
so
affect
if-
one person.
yeah, so it's 4%, you know, he gets 20, so he's making 20.80 an hour,
Yeah.
so.
So I do like Matt saying, let's make sure at least the $20, you know, minimum.
After that, it's council's call with,
With the percentage,
yeah.
And I like it to get thrown out by, you know, someone on the personnel committee. That's-
Again, I'll go back to our meeting, you know, and we were between, we went from 3 to 3.5 and 4. And we saw where we settled. And we supported each other is what we did and came in there, so. You know, I'm really quite at that 3.5 yet. But again, everybody else.
I like to see 4 and give Eric minimum of 20.
So is that 20 plus 4, or
Sure.
put him at 20?
See, I had in my mind that he would go to 20. That what,
That was my mind too.
that would go ahead and be at 20, that he wouldn't be 20
Because he
plus
would be
his
up
raise.
there at 20, even at 4.
Right.
So everyone would get 4, and then he would actually get a little bit extra to
He'd
get
go to
up to
20.
20. I think that's the fairest we can make it.
Yeah. I can support that.
So 4% with them.
4% and there it goes to 20.
If you threw that out, I would
So,
vote for that.
so I guess, so I understand, I guess, so Eric goes to $20 plus then the 4%?
No.
No?
He goes to $20.
Okay,
The 4% wouldn't
So
quite.
he's
take
getting
it.
way over 4% to go to
Okay.
20.
But
okay.
it would be close.
Yeah, he'd be at 1976 otherwise, so he's getting an extra quarter.
So everyone's gonna get a little bit more than that 3.5%, so they're gonna get 4. And then we're gonna bring Eric up to the 20, so he's gonna get what, 4.5% or whatever, roughly.
Roundabout, yeah.
Roundabout. I guess I would be happy with that. I'd like to see that.
Can you support that, Rich, or would you?
I would support that.
Does that include Caroline?
No.
No, 'cause she's library.
Yeah, that's already decided.
That's what I said.
Now, do I
So the
think she
bottom
needs a
three
higher
are listed.
wage? Yeah, but
Right, it's, yep, everybody above the bottom three.
Is this when we vote on council's wages too, or is that a different?
Can't do that.
Like
You
the
guys,
future
you
council.
guys can do it, but then it's for the next council to get.
I can't guarantee it.
So do you want,
Take it away.
once you decide what you really all want here, do you want me to rewrite this resolution with what their salaries will be? Cause that's the way it has to be for the auditors. And bring it to the July 11th meeting.
And I
As
don't
long as
know
you don't
if
hash it
I
all
can figure
over
out.
again.
Or do you want me to, you wanna give the direction, and I'll fix the resolution. You'll approve this resolution as 2022-38 with, and you can state your revisions. And then I'll make the changes, and then Tyler and myself will,
I go
Sign.
for that.
I'd go for that.
Okay.
I'd rather
Okay.
just
Totally
fix
do it.
it. Let's just, yeah.
okay.
So does Eric have all his certifications, or does he have a way to advance in the future to get more money? Or is he
It'd be
just
a
here
position-
based on
it'd be a
time?
position
It's
change.
gonna be a position,
He is garbage and recycling, that is his title.
Okay,
but he's
so,
being
Well, and
groomed
gas
to be the guy.
training.
Well,
Okay.
yeah, but
so I mean, he's essentially groomed to be the cheerleader of the 4. To oversee, take over where Jack is, correct?
well, as far as gas.
For the
anyway.
gas.
Okay,
We can't say.
Jack right now is lead
okay.
also.
Yeah, we can't say for 100%. Yeah, he's,
No, we can't, that's the goal.
I don't know, I'm just,
The goal is that we get him trained up and that he wants that job and
Okay.
he's meets the requirements and blah, 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 that. But again, you know, it still has to come out that you,
okay.
maybe there'll be a better applicant at that time, you don't know, but we hope that it's, the
no,
intention.
we're
will be
hoping
it.
it's Eric, but we
Yeah.
just,
Most definitely.
he's the guy that we got. Whatever Jack called it. What it's-
So yeah, so there's definitely room for growth for Eric.
I'm just being nosy, I'm sorry.
All right. All right,
Okay,
Matt, throw this
so-
out, will you?
Sure. I gotta get my, what's the resolution number, hold on here.
2022-38.
So I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2022-38, with going to 4%. Overall, except for Eric Tajins, and he will go to $20 an hour.
Effective July first.
Yeah, effective July 1st, 2022.
I'll second that.
Through June
motion.
30th of 2023.
Okay, roll call please.
And JT seconded that. Matt Peterson,
Yes.
Matt Girardi,
Yes.
Adam Ryder,
Yes.
Rich Peterson,
Yes.
and JT Thompson.
Yes.
Okay, 21, other business. A few items on there, looks like. So I'll let Teresa.
The vandalism at Westside Park, the fiberglass slide got something, broke it, a rock, a bat, something. So I do have a quote for a new slide. The quote is $912.96. I feel we need to go ahead and get that ordered and taken care of. Do you agree?
Most definitely. This is kind of a mute issue, but does insurance cover things like that, or is deductibles even too high? for
The
things like that?
deductible's so
Yeah,
high,
it's paid out
it's,
of pocket.
yeah,
Vandalism sucks, but we have to replace it, we gotta.
yeah.
Right.
It's less
Does it get
expensive.
dry
than-
rot and break easier over time?
Urethane, or, not urethane, but, yeah, it gets depleted by ultraviolet.
I think the slide was like 20 years old.
It's,
Yeah, something,
it's older, but
Yeah.
You
it
can
was
still get that
definitely,
replacement part though, huh?
no.
No, you can't either part,
no,
it's a whole new slide.
it's a whole new slide.
Okay, but it'll still hold up to what's
Yeah, they said they will send the brackets and,
retrofitted and.
yeah, yep,
Yeah, I think we need to get that taken care of.
Yeah, so council's good with that. She'll-
Um,
Teresa will forward that.
okay, good.
Can we
I'll
stay
get
on
it
West Side Park for a second, other business?
Oh,
What about the cement that needs to be replaced?
The guys have it on the list. They're going to do it themselves. And
Right.
that's been on the list. So,
Because in
and,
the parks, there's all this maintenance and stuff, we just gotta keep up if we're gonna.
yeah,
You talking about where they making cuts where it was
Yeah,
getting
it's
busted up?
like,
Yeah.
we need to,
yeah.
okay.
Oh, can you ever decide what to do with the tennis court lights, skate park lights?
Oh, yeah.
At one time, we were supposed to put a new switch in there, and I don't know. if
For
it ever
what,
got done.
what?
For the tennis court.
I thought
lights.
that all got fixed.
I thought it got
That
fixed.
Gary Trinkamp came with outlets and stuff, and I thought that all got replaced.
You know, that might,
I'll write it
they
down.
kinda look old and nasty there, but yeah.
No, I know
We're
we
supposed
talked,
to
we were
anyway.
talking
We
about it.
talked about it at one time, the switch and outlets and stuff. Correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't Gary went up and helped us look at that stuff? And-
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And I thought we got that
I did too.
straightened out.
Well, it hasn't burned a lot long, because I've never seen it on.
Maybe people don't know it works.
I'll,
Well, yeah, they probably don't.
You have to turn, it's a switch, they don't automatically come on, you have to turn it
No,
on,
you gotta
right?
turn it
Yeah.
I'm gonna go over and check that tonight, Rich.
Yeah, we should do that.
You're gonna take a quarter, plug a quarter into it, or what?
so,
My luck, I turned on, I couldn't get it off.
I made a note of it, so I'll check with Ray.
I've never ever seen that lit in the last couple of years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't remember where we left with that, to be honest with you.
Being discussed.
Nuisance abatement, as far as the process we have, I did contact ECIA, did also ask for some pricing from them, in ordinance. Well, we are using their ordinance, so we do have a process in place. It may not be as all-inclusive or as exact. I have not looked for some of the things that we have going on, like people fixing their boat in the street, you know,
Tearing a camper apart in the street.
It's just
Yeah.
a myriad of issues, and
Well, I guess I would like to talk to you a little bit about that, cause I'd like to look at maybe some sort of an ordinance. Most of our ordinance talk about motor vehicles. So boats and trailers and all that really don't fall into that. So if we put an ordinance in place, basically that says you can't park your boat or trailer, without it being attached to a motorized vehicle, registered motorized vehicle. So if you're gonna go boating, you can pull your boat up in front of your house and load her up and go. But to sit there and have two boats on a road and then you're doing maintenance on them, you're blocking the roadway.
We don't have that now.
Yeah,
It's very
Nothing,
vague.
nothing that I'm seeing, I mean, I've looked pretty good, and I'm not finding anything that
It's
talks
not under the parking.
specifically about trailers. We see about cars, motor vehicles, but not about trailers.
we
Well,
had
because
one
of-
about both because it involved 48 hours, if I remember right, or something.
I don't remember, I just,
Remember that?
So,
yeah,
well, let me look some more, but we'll revisit it. I guess I'm kinda wanting, your guys' feedback
we want that, that's,
on,
yeah, I
on something
support
like
that.
that. I mean, I mean, we had the guy up on DeGroat Street, thank gosh, he sold that, but here you got this trailer up there, and it's like, well, he's got it licensed, and he's
Right.
good, but yet it's the biggest eyesore in the world, and
Yeah, and that's part of it, the recreational vehicles, whatever you wanna call them, sitting around is definitely part of it. To me, the biggest thing is, and I don't know what we can do, it's just the rundown, you know, the landlords that just let their property go.
yeah.
And I don't know what we can do, you know, I know there's inspections and stuff on here, but who's going to actually go do the inspections? Would it be ECIA, or how would that?
If we went with that, it would be more ECIA, but I was visiting with JT, and I feel what I should do is, visit with,
So Brad, our old chief, the city of Macocota running the same problem. We junk cars, junk in the yard,
Run down.
rental properties run down, and you couldn't force these rental people to do anything, so they come up with this property maintenance and these rental, inspections. And the rental inspections were geared toward, health and safety and all that. Well, the ECIA did start that, but now the city of Macocota has their own property maintenance person that deals with, inspection, hot rental inspections, all kinds of stuff, junk, long grass, everything, stuff that cops hate to deal with. So they got someone just designated for it.
And that's where I was going with it, because it's hard for us, bigger communities have a building inspector, or somebody like that can go in and
Yeah,
say, hey.
we don't have a budget for that.
Right.
So, talking to Brad today, coming in my office, I said, hey, it's on the agenda to discuss something about that. He is willing to come down either at a council meeting or just meet with whoever, especially Teresa, and just kind of the operation, how it works, how it's funded, the good and the bad and the ugly about having. And not say we have to have our own, new employee to do it, would ECIA be the person to go to? He did mention there is some other, people that have helped out that do rental inspections. But he did mention, well, you gotta make sure you have a good ordinance and all that, and I said, well, maybe just better off if you explain about this, But I do agree with, Tyler, I think we really need to start focusing
How
on.
is it funded?
What?
How is it funded?
Like the rental inspections, you have to, they pay, so that's
That's your
part of it.
inspection fee.
Your inspection fee, building permits, he deals with all that, you gotta spend like $20 to re-roof your house, all that money goes in to help support that.
When I read through all these, and I think we need something like that. You talk about inhabitable, and we have inhabitable
Yeah.
down here, and it's been more than 6 months.
But you have to have someone
It is.
like on it all the time to really, cause it's a process to do all that stuff.
And my biggest thing is, when I read through it too, is consistency. We gotta make sure we're not we get focused on one thing, that we're
Yeah.
on one property when there's 3 others that are just as bad. So that's where we get in trouble, that we're make sure we are consistent and we're following through on what we're saying we're gonna do. And because there's a lot of it is out of control, and I'm gonna go back to that and have a little trailer down there.
Oh,
It's such an eyesore to come in and see those things.
So I guess my thing is too, with when you're speaking about that, the fire department did training in there years ago. So in talking with them, they feel there's some sort of financial responsibility for the city, since they came in and trained in that building, to
They
take,
trained in that trailer down there?
The residents do,
yeah,
or the fire department?
no, the residents feel,
Oh, okay.
since they
They
invited
allowed
them
to
into their
happen,
home
didn't they?
essentially, a part of their property, it's like, okay, you did this, now, you know, can you help us with that? So, you know, I think they're like, whoever comes and pulls it out of their yard, more power to them. But they feel it's gonna probably cost a couple $1,000s to do that. And they're sitting there, we just don't have the money for that. So,
We might-
Well, I don't think, the way I understand it, there was never an agreement between the fire department
yeah.
and the citizen that there was any financial obligation. It was more that it was inhabitable and,
Yeah, I think
It was you.
they had to allow it to happen.
Yeah, they did, they openly did, but I think now you're kind of saying, all right, well, you want us to clean up the mess, so you help make it essentially. So are you gonna be a part of the,
So is it?
I'm just telling you,
Yeah, I think that's on them. That's,
well, I'm not an attorney, so I don't, you know.
they allowed, they gave
Yeah.
it permission for that to happen.
Yeah,
If I gave somebody permission to paint my house yellow when I wanted it blue, that's on me.
right.
unless you have it in writing.
But,
Yeah, I think we need to focus on
We do.
on all of it, you know. I think the parking with to get back to the parking of the trailers, campers, everything, and I could send you our ordinance on Coconut. Basically, you can't park anything on the street besides your vehicle. If you have a trailer, it has to be because you're doing construction, construction trailers can be there if they're working on it. Now, for campers, boats, stuff like that, like Bill said, okay, you're pulling up, you're loading, unloading, stuff like that is fine, but you can't leave it parked on the street all night long.
see, and I don't know that I agree with all that, because you do have families that are packing the night before, or doing that kind of.
Yeah,
And I think that's where,
How stringent you want to
That's
be.
yeah,
where
but I
putting
think that's where.
48 hours or
Yeah,
something.
but that's why I think the discretion comes in with your police
Law.
department and your city, you know, and says, hey, okay, we get what you're doing.
Yeah.
You're not trying to
You're
buck
not
the
living
system,
on the
you're not here to
Right.
buck the system.
Right.
You're starting
You're just-
back
yeah.
Wednesday night, and you're leaving Saturday morning, I get it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Right.
yeah, it's just, yeah, I think a lot of that falls on the officer's discretion, so,
I agree.
it might already be in there, but I'm more worried about the junk, the long grass, the inhabitable stuff, the vehicles on the street or in the yard, just,
Yeah, non-licensed vehicles in the yard.
And I have talked to, I basically have what I call six big offenders, and I've spoke to about 4 of them. And basically, I've just said, hey, look, it's time to get these things cleaned up. I'd like to have an agreement between you, just us talking. And as you get going, let's help you, because the minute I start writing you a letter, I'm giving you a time frame and probably a ticket. I don't wanna go to court, I want you to work through this, and we'll see what we can do to help you.
Have they been open, those conversations?
Yeah, for the most part, yeah, I would say. But then also I get, hey, I'm working 12-hour shifts, 6 days a week, and I don't have time for that. And I'm sitting there going, well, we gotta kinda make time. So, and I've got one there on the north side of town that, I'm like, we gotta get a fire truck up that back alley. I can't get it with all your stuff in there. It's gotta go. So, and then I talked to one over here on the south side, and he's got garbage and everything else and unlicensed vehicles, and it's like, hey, we need to really get things going. And I visited with them for a little bit today. So I'd like to take that approach, but yet I don't want it to be, you know, Christmas Eve, and it's like, dude, the same car you've had out there for the last,
Right.
you know, 9 months is still there.
oh, I think
You
you
know.
can work with them, but
Yeah.
if you're working on that and the ordinance says, or if the ordinance needs to be changed or something different.
Well, I think we really need to do,
All that does.
yeah, but I really think we need to do something with these trailers. Like I said, I got a horse trailer on the north side that sits on the side of the road. I got 2 boats down here that he's working on in the roadway. And then I've got other farm equipment that's parked in the town, you know, and so, and I get from talking to the folks that I've talked with, that they're, you know, have this feeling that, you know, well, it was better on the farm. I'm like, well, I know farm life's great, but you can't live like you did on the farm in town. It just doesn't work that way. So I said, I think that's kind of where we've been. But I guess, you know, I want to talk a little bit more. I want to, with the Amos Street apartments there, I think it's 100 and 110. I want to put no parking on the west side of the road. And so then, that would be from School to DeGroat Street. I want no parking on the west side and no parking in front of the buildings. I think it's a fire hazard. I think that big safety issue. I think the only place you need to be parking is in front of their garages. If those two owners want to put rock down, put a parking lot in and let their people park there, that's fine, but
And there's plenty of room for
I-
those landowners to do that.
so I guess I'm asking you, cause I'm kinda wanting to get something drawn up that would go with that, and if you guys are kinda like, okay, we can kinda move that direction. And,
I'm open to
I think that's a good first
anything
step.
proactive to clean up the town or help, you bring it to us.
so,
Well, like you said, emergency service, if you have to get in a fire truck and things to those places, and when you drive through there, it scares me to death when those kids are darting out between those vehicles, and they're already halfway on the street, the vehicles are. and
Right.
well, there ain't a
when
whole
they
lot,
dart
yeah,
out,
they're right there,
They're
there's a foot, maybe 2 feet from the,
scares
yeah,
the
I totally,
There's a lot of ambulance calls down there too, and
Yeah.
it's tight.
Yeah.
It's real tight.
Yeah.
and then want to, right over here, I want to, and I've kinda talked to them about switching the angle of their cars. They all come off Main and they pull in. I want them to go with the flow of traffic. So, and in that, I will start to enforce those. But I think also too, I'd like to at least have you guys think the option, and I'm gonna go over here on East Gillette. And that whole area on East Gillette that's alongside the park, if we could make that no parking, that would help. And then if you still wanted to use the park or pull up, you could pull up on, you know, what's Davis Street, and do it there versus, and then keeps Gillette a little bit more open. Otherwise, you get a lot of bottlenecks with
Right.
the farm equipment and the cars and boats, and we're doing repairs in the roadway.
So,
Isn't that already no parking there?
no. So that would make, I like that idea if we do something like that, because, you know, going towards Geno's, and that's where that more traffic, and that's where the bus stop is. The
Right.
bus stops on that side.
Everyone
Yeah.
takes that side, cause that's the side that cuts to Geno's and cuts out.
Yeah, so that, I mean, it is narrow, very narrow.
It is.
there, but I like that you're being proactive and working with people and asking their ideas and stuff too, that's great, but we have to keep.
Well, I kinda with this and on Gillette, it was pretty much, you give me what your guys wanna do to help you out, the city as well as yourselves, and I just got arguments. So I'm like, well then obviously, we've gotta figure something out here, so then unfortunately, then the city's probably gonna end up taking action
Right.
to help the situation out.
Right.
You know, I think down there, there's, you know, like we talked about, the landowners and stuff have enough room to make parking and stuff. I'm just a little concerned that the residents out here, I think it's a good idea, but that they have enough parking to go to yet.
Well, then I guess my thing is just if you take the time throughout the day or your days in the next, you know, take a look and see what your thoughts are. You know, and if you got something different, I'm all for it, but, I just feel like we gotta try and do something and they're just, where I'm not getting a cooperation.
I'm not against the no parking on the one side of the road. I think that will clear things up, for sure, down there. Especially down there.
Yeah, I'd like to drive by there a couple times and actually look at that. I'm kinda for that too. I do like the idea about down there.
Yeah. There's options
We,
down
we
there.
gotta do something down there.
I think it throws it back on the property owner because
Right.
then they have property.
Right.
And either they make it grass or they make it parking, whatever they wanna do, but the way it was set up and they were allowed to build probably shouldn't have been
Right.
the way it was.
Someday, hopefully, when the curb and gutter goes through there, there's not gonna be much space between the
Sidewalk.
front window and the.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's the thing, and I don't wanna, and, you know, we're only talking probably probably, what, 10 feet from the road to the front door. I mean, it's very, very small area.
Well, I think the
When
biggest,
they park in there, it's just.
yeah.
It's all over the place.
And I think the biggest thing too is the city has reached out to everybody. They know where the city stands on this. So now it's pretty much time to act. I mean, it's kind of, you've had your chance, you know, we've talked to you, but now we gotta do something about it, so.
So, well, if you guys are all right with it, then we'll try and get something written up for an ordinance then for next council meeting, so.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Okay. Okay, is there anything else? No? Anybody else have anything?
One thing I was gonna bring up quick, I was over at the coffee shop this weekend when it was raining,
Yes.
and the window, like, water was coming in, I mean, at a pretty good clip, so I don't know what we can do to,
Caroline mentioned it to me, so I'm, today now later, so I'll talk to Ray
yeah.
about it and see
Yeah, and it was
if we
coming in
can
right by where the
silicone or
outlet-
do
yeah.
something to try to take care of that.
Yeah, I know. Nothing lasts forever. Okay, anything else? Not, we'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
That's what you got.
Second? Second. Dan, roll call, please.
Matt Girardi,
Yep.
Adam Ryder,
Yes.
JT Thompson,
Yes.
Rich Peterson,
Yes.
Matt Peterson.
Yes.
Alright. Okay, thanks everybody.